Amazing stuff.
Great start. Anyway. Yeah, that's what would kind of, I think, your current wonderment about Peppermint. Like, that's the current situation.
Waiting. Watching.
Watching and waiting.
Aside from that, your life would be an endless barrage of people wanting to talk to you from in front of the Astropath Sanctum.
Who talked to me in front of the Astropath Sanctum?
Well, specifically, Shax would be the one to approach you, as it's from the Mechanicus section of the ship that this concern is raised from.
What's his problem?
A member of the section's gone missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seems they can't find crew member JB-415 anywhere on this ship.
JB.
What do you mean the fuck you can't find fucking JB?
He's gone. Nobody noticed until the plant started, like, showing a difference.
Okay, I'm gonna make contact with Polyon and ask her when was the last time JB was on camera.
Last time he was on camera was in airlock 3B, where he jettisoned himself out into space.
Wait,
Oh.
what?
Yeah, you get the live feed, and he's carrying, he's got a vac suit on, and he's carrying a large hard case.
Can I go back to find out what's in that hard case?
Sure. Retracing your steps, you find out that he originally goes into your room with the hard case, is the last place you, see him come out of is your quarters.
This fucker go traitor on me.
Well, the Apollyon doesn't really run, 24-hour recordings in your room, because that would be rude.
Mm-hmm.
But, for this instance, she did record what was going on inside.
Mm-hmm.
And that motherfucker busts into your room and uses something that looks kind of like the mix between an Auspex and like an Orc teleporter. Like it has a bunch of like coils on it and stuff that are conducting a warp field.
Uh-huh.
And he opens a little warp rift right in your quarter.
Uh-huh.
Reaches his hand in and pulls out the thin silicone wafer that is your data storage for all the STC data.
Yeah.
Stuffs it in the hard case and leaves a note.
Uh-huh.
Before fucking off to the airlock and leaving.
What does the note say?
It's a set of coordinates in the Hell system, and that he needs to talk to the party. Which means all of you.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the only other crazy thing that's been happening on the ship since you've been gone. Other than that, it's been business as usual.
Okay. Well, I'm going to, I guess, after looking through all that, inform Shax that JB may or may not be a heretic. Don't know quite yet.
He kind of gives you a bemused look.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like, I never thought he was that kind of person.
It's the Inquisition for you.
Again, I'm not 100% sure what it is yet, but it's something. Just be aware that if you see him, you may or may not have a problem.
Right. Wow.
In short, he went into my quarters, stole something rather important, and then decided to throw himself out of an airlock. And also had a device that is definitely not Imperial.
Oh, and here's one other tidbit for information for you too, Conrad. Since you do have Heretic, the device he used definitely wasn't something that was like mashed and hobbled together in a Heretic's lab.
Okay, so it's
Everything
well and
was
proper
way too
Xeno.
clean and utilitarian.
So proper Xeno. Or
No,
just a really good faceless traitor.
it was distinctly human.
Oh.
It's just the coils were very similar to how orc teleporters work, how they like conduct warp energy.
Where's Gordon? Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show Shax the device out of the frame where the STC is involved. I.e., don't show him the STC, but show him the device. You get me?
Yeah, you can give him just a shot of the device.
Have you ever seen
And,
anything like it before?
Let's see. I haven't seen something like that before, but I know the general look.
Mm-hmm.
That item is from a cursed age in our history. Back
Is it the
when the
Dark
Mechanicum
Mechanicus?
didn't. No, it's back when we didn't even exist.
Old as balls.
I'm saying this device is directly from the Dark Age of technology and is something that could be extremely dangerous.
Obviously.
The fact that he has something like that.
Raises quite a bit.
Like
Who's the
where
only other person on this ship who you think might have any idea how to poke around with something like that? Because I think Gordon. Do you have any other recommendations?
I have no idea. Everything I've been taught up to this point has taught me that things from back then are evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Personified.
If you excuse me, I'm going to go find Gordon. Thank you, Shaq.
Right.
So I'm going to find Gordon, show it to him. I imagine he's going to give me the same drill, and I'm going to hope that he didn't happen to help JB in any way.
As
Make
soon
him
as
to whatever this device is.
you show him, he straight up asks you if you still know where JB is.
He gave us a set of coordinates. Why?
I just want to, make sure if you do have to kill him to bring that back to me.
I'll think about it, Gordon.
Okay.
Nothing's come out of the teleportarium, has it?
Still offline.
Good. All right. Well, around this point, I think Conrad's finally going to go ahead and get in touch with the party over the long range, over the array system.
Yeah. Since everybody else, I assume, is hanging down on the Hive Spire Novigrad to hold down the fort.
Fortification.
Fortify
So it's
position.
just been building sandbag walls.
So
So
we get
yeah.
the call.
Yeah, the call would come down for all of you, and you'd get grabbed from your respective areas to come into the main box room.
Ugh.
Hi, so what's this all about?
Everyone's here.
Yeah.
So I have some unpleasant news. JB has gone rogue in some capacity and decided to steal a very important item from my quarters and then throw himself out of airlock and leave us a set of coordinates to, I assume, meet him at.
Ah. So I've
The
got to
coordinates
go.
in question are for dead space in the Hell system, on the outer edge of
Because,
the entirety of the system, by the by.
again, he threw himself into fucking space.
So I've got to go arrest him then.
We'll see how it goes. So I think I'm going to be sending the Angel of Death down to pick you all up so we can head in that direction.
Right.
Oh, and also, before I forget, I am going to give orders for the, because have the troops breached into Father's room and my room yet?
No, they're all holding key defensive positions and under Sill's orders, erecting fortifications to repel off any attack.
Okay.
They're basically turning the place into a fucking fortress right now, while the Clan of Wonder kind of runs outlying recon and skirmishes.
Gotcha. Neither anything that it belonged to my father nor myself is to basically be tampered with, but is to be secured, if that makes sense.
Understood.
Don't touch it, just look at it really hard.
Barnabas's scouts actually take on that job.
What's left of them?
Yeah. They did find about 3 that were completely stark raving mad by the end of clearing the entire spire, but
So yeah. In that case, it's time to wait for the party to get together.
bing bang boom, you guys fly up to the Apollyon.
Alright.
I assume you would probably want to meet them in the little meeting room in your quarters or something?
Let's go for the, whatchamacallit one.
The Kronos meeting room.
Yeah, that one.
Alright.
All right, the moment we're in here, and I confirm that we are in fact alone, right?
Yep.
I'm going to look at the party and go, JB stole the STC.
Oh.
Not only did he steal the STC, he also had his hands on something from the dark age of technology and used it to steal the STC by basically opening a tiny warp rift. I imagine using what looked like an auspex almost to identify exactly where it was in the room, and then somehow using said warp rift technology to move it from where it was into the warp rift into his hand, and then into a hard case, where he proceeded to then calmly walk his ass to the nearest airlock, vac suit up, and jetted us himself.
Seems like a lot of steps.
That most certainly does. Now then, here's the most important part I will iterate to all of you right now, which is, no matter what his reasoning for this is, when he gets here, and he explains himself, and we secure the STC, he is going to die. For no other reason than he's decided to betray the Inquisition. Because if this was some problem he had with us having the STC, he could have simply came to us and talked about it in private. But no, he did this.
And
So no matter which way this pans out, at the end of the day, JB is a traitor until he can somehow prove to us that he did this in the name of some greater good. And if he starts sounding like a Tau too much, we can just shoot him anyway.
fair point.
Everyone understand me?
That's right.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I have a request. If we
That
do
would be?
end up having to kill him,
Mhm.
I'm going to scrap all of his cybernetics.
You can do whatever you want with the corpse afterwards.
Excellent. Out
Net
of
and settled.
character. That was kind of dark.
Welcome to the Inquisition, I guess? Anyway. Everything gets set up so that the Pax Romania can stay in contact with the Apollyon, even with the time lag.
Mm-hmm.
This.
And, you guys ship out to the coordinates.
Mm-hmm.
It takes about a solid, I don't know, a day to get there, just burning.
Mm-hmm.
But when you finally get to the outer edge of the system, to the big asteroid cloud that surrounds it, you pick up the signal at the coordinates that he sent you to meet him at.
What are said coordinates?
An extremely small spacefaring vessel. About the size of, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 of the Angel of Death's cargo ships, taped end to end.
Okay, well, before we get any closer to that, I will have the Apollyon. I would like to basically use a tech use to send out an active sensor ping with the auger ray and detect any other ships that may be hiding in this like oid cloud.
I'm putting in
Okay.
Laura's extra tech use to help with that.
It's another auger sensor system, so you can use that.
15.
Excellent.
Nope, just a fuck ton of asteroids.
Okay. Well then.
The ship itself sticks out like a sore thumb. It's plainly silver and quite streamlined and sleek, with no visible weapon ports of any kind or even any cockpit.
A
Okay.
floating tomb.
So it would seem. Does it have a... Well, it comes up on sensors. If we hail it, does it respond?
No. Dead static.
All right then. But does it have... Is it the static that there's nothing receiving, or is it the static that it's receiving and not answering?
The best guess everybody on the bridges has is probably low power.
Like emergency power. Okay.
Like, Captain,
Yes.
isn't it a little fucking weird that he knew about this?
I'm assuming that JB more than likely has outside influences beyond the Inquisition.
Hmm.
Which is to say that it would not surprise me that this is some colleagues of his doing, one way or another, who also
I
somehow
swear.
knew of our... Well, somehow knew what was in my quarters, and somehow also got him that piece from the Dark Age.
I swear if this
Because I
turns
doubt
out
that
to be-
JB himself could do all this by himself.
Right, right.
Which also means that I assume that he will have appropriate firepower. Which means that we should bring it as well. Because after all, anything in that note say to come alone.
The only
Thus-
thing he specified is you bring all of your group, like your party.
Okay.
You have to be there.
All right. Well, Comet, Melchizedek, I want their tactical advice on the situation. Mostly because it seems like a perfect way to get us all killed.
Well, the first thing that Comet would bring up is that trying to insert onto a ship like that's kind of hard. There's no visible airlock, so yeah.
We just launch a boring torpedo at it, and if he's in there, make him deal with the fallout.
It's ancient technology we're talking about. As Melchizedek kind of brings it up. We don't know how powerful it is. I mean, a boarding torpedo could bounce right off.
Fair
We could
enough.
always go wake up the god and ask him.
Get him to eat it, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way it goes. Redden,
Go ahead and wake up the god.
Mm-hmm.
set it to blue, please.
Okay. I was gonna do that.
I just want to make sure that you know. I knew exactly when we were set. Mostly because if we do it now, before we're in the ship, we can, you know, stop ourselves. Well, you can stop us from doing this and try a
Alright,
different
hold
way.
out your hand.
I do that.
I'm gonna grab her wrist and then set it to blue.
Alright. So,
Cool.
the other, like, banglet,
Mhm.
your Order Chronos one, lights up blue.
Excellent. All right. So then, for this first insertion, let us do as the thing says and not much else, so we don't risk anyone else in our little insertion, shall we?
Right.
Which is to say that we are going to be taking one of the, not the Angel of Death's big jazz cargo transport, but just a Valkyrie that is spacefaring, which I'm probably going to pilot.
And since it's not technically endangering anyone of importance, I'm gonna drag some of the limited autonomy troops that we have.
Okay.
Just tech guard, not the Skitarii.
Should I suit up?
Don't you have only such a limited charge in that thing?
Yeah, but it's absolutely full at the moment.
Why not?
It's your call, Captain.
Again, I don't see any reason why not to, because after all, if he expects us to come here not being ready for a fight, I don't know what to tell him.
Right.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go suit up in my Eldari stuff.
Okay. The gang suits up.
Alright, 1d5.
Then I am. Everyone's got their inventory and stuff.
Yep.
Oh, you're
I
fucking...
still have one shot in my multi-pistol. 1 hour should be enough for what we're doing.
Yeah, fair enough. And worst comes to worst, I can try and do a charge roll because luminant capacitors.
Right, it becomes a tough check, I believe.
The ship is no more than a 10-minute walk.
Right.
Yeah.
It's mostly a tap. It's mostly the flight time, which I imagine is only a few minutes as well.
Yeah, you guys get pretty close.
So, in that case, if everyone's ready, Conrad's going to get in the pilot seat and wait for everyone to load in with the tech guard, and then take off.
And I do want to declare like shotguns and basic las weaponry. It's like well,
Yep.
it's 4 guys, so.
To ask you, Mason,
Yeah.
is still taking the heavy stubber or the sturdy sniper rifle for this?
I'd say heavy stubborn grenade launcher.
Okay. I figured the grenade launcher. I just didn't know what the other main was going to be.
Blow out the side of it, probably.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume Redden's bringing... Is Redden bringing the plasma pistol with him this time, or just the pepper box?
Both.
Okay. All right, that's all declared. Time to approach it and see if anything happens as we get close. And if nothing happens in a few minutes when we're like close enough to land on it, I'm going to try to contact it over Vox again.
You only have to make a single check to navigate through the asteroid since you're not going at a huge speed.
Okay. Give me a moment to double check something. That is still a pass.
I could just punch the asteroids out the way.
So you navigate through the asteroids up to the unknown ship.
Mm-hmm.
You land on it, and when you do, right from where you've landed, a little beacon lights up on the hull.
Mm-hmm.
And then another, creating kind of like a little line.
Mm-hmm.
To you, it's obvious they're kind of like beacons designed for crew navigating on a ship, to head back to an airlock or something, so that's probably where they're trying to guide you.
Yep. Right then.
What are these lights?
Time. Follow them. It should be our way in. And I think the entire party, because we're in boss raid gear, is able to go into the vacuum of space just fine, right?
Nope.
Even Redden.
We read
Don't the nanomachines give you an air bubble?
they do.
Oh.
Not only do they give him an air bubble, but his boots are always adjusted for the proper gravity.
Well,
Bitch.
So yeah, no, Redden's going to be walking outside like a fucking god. Because, you know, he's got no back suit and he's not
Everyone
dying.
else is going to be floating.
Well, this is why I have climby hand. So I can stick to the hull.
mag boots, yay!
I'll just punch the anti-gravity.
So then, we follow the lights. Where do they lead us?
The side of the ship, which unfolds to reveal a little staircase in the airlock, which is only big enough to fit all four of you barely.
Interesting.
It is exceptionally tall.
Let's go ahead. And airlock.
Cycles, and the door to the ship opens.
Also, when you say exceptionally tall, are you meaning like it's a doorway and then it's like enough room to fit one person and it just keeps going up?
No, like
Where
the
we're,
four
like,
of
stacked
you
on
can
top of each other?
stand. Four of you could stand shoulder to shoulder, but it's really tight.
Uh-huh.
But the height is at about something of a Space Marines level.
Oh,
Okay.
okay then.
What about the door? Same?
Very same.
Okay.
Although there's a panel below it that's human height that just opens for you guys.
Wonderful.
Like built into the bigger airlock door.
Well, this is certainly ominous.
Well then. Let us press forward.
You step out into what is very obviously a receiving bay. There's obvious signs of long-term degradation. You know, glowing moss growing on shit everywhere. But other than that, it looks pretty much perfectly preserved. There's steel boxes still on hooks hanging from the ceiling. Everything is bathed in like this glow of red emergency power light strips on the walls. These crates fill pretty much almost the entire room, stacked on shelves going all throughout, splitting it up into narrow corridors. The other way that this room exits out leads you toward what you assume would be the front of the ship, as the boxes all seem to head back towards some kind of cargo hold.
Anything happen if we just wait here a little while?
If you elect to wait, 5 minutes go by and nothing happens.
Okay. Well, obviously he's not very much of a host. So.
Not so surprised.
So he's a traitor and he's rude.
Do what?
He's a traitor and he's rude.
So it would seem. So then, let's go ahead and take our time going through these halls.
Uh-huh.
So, halls all lead back to the central cargo bay, and a hatch that leads to the second level of the ship, which houses the engine room.
Okay.
It's an engine unlike anything you've ever seen before. Like, you take one look at it, and your brain just kind of breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's one of those.
It kind of ends at the engine room, and there is a way you can follow along the second level of the deck all the way back the way you came, but like on the lower deck.
Still no sign of JB.
Still no sign of JB. Although all of the 5 halls from down upstairs have been merged into one massive causeway for this downstairs hallway.
Mhm.
It's like one big causeway almost, with like trees and stuff growing out of it, and this similar moss growing all over.
The fact that there's moss here in a ship in the middle of space.
But we still have those all specs.
There are planted trees here, Sterling.
Fair. Oh, you know.
Like I said, it's like a promenade. Like the best way to explain it is, you know how like in parks and stuff, there's like those like long straight stretches you can walk along that have like trees and all manner of pretty things. It's like someone took one of those and put it on the ship.
No wonder why he wanted to make a biodome.
It's got everything from like ancient Earth plants that you've only heard about in fantasies to xenobiological specimens that make almost no sense. It's kind of like a melting pot of bioorganics.
This has JB's fingerprints all over it.
Brendan, you still have those all specs?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Here. At this rate, just keep
Good.
it.
Okay. Can I add that to my inventory? And I'm going to use said off specs in order to, well, first of all, you said a lot of the shit is glowing.
The moss lights everything up with a dull bioluminescent glow. It's like a light teal color that offsets the red of the emergency stripping.
Gotcha. Just double checking that, and then is there any odd readings with it on a 58 out of 60?
I'm just cycling through all your biological settings. A quick scan of the moss in and of itself reveals that it has no harmful properties and exists like the bioluminescent state is an energy emission.
And again,
It's
whatever
not-
it's radiating isn't harmful.
No, it's not. It's designed to it's a plant designed to be pretty.
Okay. Can I also point the off specs at the engine?
Sure.
That is a failure.
It probably wouldn't help. The Auspex has no idea what it's really looking at.
And all the energy readings are basically unreadable because there's just too much for it to make sense of.
Engine has no energy emissions.
Oh.
It's completely cold.
Does it look like it's active?
No, it's off.
Okay, I thought it was
As far
on.
as you can tell.
Well done. Let's not touch that.
Let's
Laura's
not
going
touch
to,
that.
Laura's gonna snap some pics with her optical megadendrite while they're moving past.
So then. Does this causeway just lead back up, or do we not know where it leads?
It leads you back down to the other end of the ship. Where
Which
you
is
can
where
see
we've
there's
been,
like a
or not?
large staircase that goes up.
Okay.
Further on we go.
Yep.
So as you guys walk along the promenade, the walls turn transparent, giving you a view of space.
And the various
It's
asteroids.
kind of disorienting when you step on and you see the Apollyon off to your right.
Oh dear. My
Anyway, you walk along the causeway. Yeah?
disorienting because suddenly space.
Yeah, I know.
Oh dear. One moment. I'm Oh.
It's okay, whether you fail or not. They designed this causeway for everybody, so the little walkway would like catch you and pull you along, like almost like an elevator thing, or like one of those things you see in
That's an agoraphobia
airport.
roll.
Yeah. So Laura's basically being dragged along by the automatic floor at this point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Laura pretty much froze up.
So all of this is nice and all, but where the fuck is JV?
Probably in the equivalent of a bridge or some kind of meeting room.
Oh, where is that?
Hopefully, the way we're heading.
So again, you guys get to the other end of the hallway. It's a very large set of stairs, multi-tiered, takes you back up to the top floor.
Mm-hmm.
Heading up it puts you on what would best be explained as a kind of like if someone took the concept of a pilot's like crash closet and expanded it for the entire bridge.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a ton of mechanical repair kits and potted plants and lots of other personal effects lying around. Books, data slates. There's also a control console with the hard case and JB slumped over the console.
Is he dead?
At first glance, it seems like he's either dead or asleep. He's not responding to anything.
Kick him.
Can I
Okay.
take the? Okay. Well, I guess I was kicking him.
So you kick his limp body off the console.
Uh,
I think he's dead.
I'm
Conrad's gonna come over to check his pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead, Jim.
What's in the hard case?
The STC.
Going to plug it into a data pad to see if it's still complete or if he's corrupted it.
As soon as you plug it in, the ship's power comes to life.
Mm-hmm.
And everything turns on.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you've got lights now.
alright,
I
there's
can't
no.
arrest the ports.
Laura's going to check over the body because see if there's anything worth taking off of it, and we're probably gonna haul it back because not gonna.
Does
lie.
JC have a mind impulse unit?
You can roll me a Medicaid check.
Let me.
All right, Laura, that's up to you.
Can I arrest the ship?
With Medicaid and Superior Kyurgan, I make that.
Okay.
Excellent.
So with some probing of his body requires you to do some knife work. But hey, desecrating bodies isn't above you. You find he has implanted mind impulse unit.
Excellent.
Does it connect to any kind of cognitive storage device?
It connects to one,
Okay.
a single storage device.
Can it be removed safely?
Yes, you can click a button on the console right in front of you to disconnect it from its storage bay.
Can I check a... Can I do a security check in order to see if there's some sub-program that will wipe it if I do that without taking the proper precautions first?
Yeah.
That is a pass.
As far as you can tell, there is no security on board to wipe his information. Should it be like compromised or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no like special things hoops you have to jump through. Hitting the button will actually activate and dispense the unit.
Okay. Dispense the
Which
unit,
again
select the
is
unit.
it's named Unit JB415.
Yep. So, remove the unit and double checking something. What is actually on my data pad with the STC connected to it?
You have the entire ship's systems. It basically took over your entire data pad and is running as a proxy for the ship systems.
Gotcha. Do I have control over anything, or is it just using it?
Um, you have basic control, like basic crew member control, but nothing like administrative.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, does anyone else here have a data pad?
I mean, Laura started carrying one too, so yeah, there's another data pad.
I have no idea if this is going to do anything bad to it, but would you like to check JB's memory unit?
Yeah, let's see. Gonna go ahead and make sure the data pad is in and is not going to connect to anything else, and then take the memory unit.
Okay, well, the memory unit itself is actually kind of oddly structured. Again, it looks like something out of your wildest fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to go there.
No, honestly though, all of the stuff you've encountered so far is so above and beyond your level of comprehension, it seems almost like magic.
It's one of those. Oh boy. This can only end well.
So you plug the unit in, and this time you get a pre-recorded, you get a different set of options than Conrad.
Wonderful. What do we got?
You can activate the administrative protocols, which requires the JB415 memory core.
Is there any other options?
Since he's the administrator of this ship, no. The only way to get administrative access would be to plug in said core.
Let's see.
The only other option you have is the beginning of the process, which will raise the actual container to store his memory core.
Well, I suppose let's activate let's access administration.
It requires you to insert the core into the unit.
Oh, back into the... Okay, then. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
So, yeah, you all see Laura walk out to the center of the room, hit a button on the data pad, and a large mechanical strider comes out of the floor with 4 legs, 2 arms, about the size of a space marine. One of its arms is like a rotary cannon,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one has 2 digits and 1 thumb.
I'm rolling an intelligence. I'm rolling a Mechanicus intelligence on this. No, I got nothing. That's a fail by 7.
You can at least confirm that it's nothing that the Legio Cybernetica's ever made.
Out of character, I think I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Laura is going to cautiously begin the process of inserting the memory core.
Excuse me.
And also make sure that she can sever it quickly if something bad happens. Alright, so plus 30, plus 20. I passed that even with an 85.
Well, you've kind of jury-rigged the little doors so that it can't shut when you insert the core, so you can kind of stand there and rip it out if something bad goes wrong.
Let's do this. And begin activation process.
Okay. So you see like a couple hundred running different programs all come up and turn on in a third of a second.
That's a little disconcerting.
And like Daddy's on. And you hear, whoa, whoa. And immediately
Guten
looks at
Morgen.
its hands and curses.
The fuck are
Don't know how you
you?
managed.
Oh,
Don't know how you
Huh?
managed to kill
hi,
yourself, but you did
JB.
it.
I can't believe this is the only thing Computer,
managed to
where
kill
the
you.
fuck is my original body?
It's
Dead.
over there.
No, not that one, my original body.
I don't
The
think we
fuck
fucked
are
with that
you?
yet.
Oh god.
It's JB.
Oh, well,
Hmm.
great. So the body I wanted has been recycled for parts, and I'm stuck in this monster now.
Congratulations.
Wait a second.
Ah.
Would the statement? I'm gonna see if because Laura's like, wait, this monster. Laura's gonna try and remember something again.
I don't think Laura would even know that what a man of iron is.
Men of Iron are they're like a myth, but there are like tales whispered about them. So
I don't think it'd be anything you could recognize.
Is what I'm saying.
ah,
I don't
Never
think
mind.
no matter how well you rolled, you could connect the causality there.
hmm. Well then. So, do you want to tell us why you stole the thing?
And why we're here?
Very dangerous?
And what, you don't trust me, JB?
No. It's not that I don't trust you, it's that, well,
Go on.
I wanted. Well, being honest, I just wanted to get my old body. It's really been the only thing that's been driving me, but now that seems like a pipe dream.
Well, listen. What possessed you in order to do this without, coming to me? As you see me consort with Xenos, and, well, I'm beginning to put together that mayhaps you are human.
I'm not.
The way the memory.
I wonder what could have gave me that impression. Should I assume that the JB we knew
No.
keeled over due to his natural lifespan?
What?
The other you, well, your old body, however you want to fucking put it. I'm going to assume it's some kind of clone that was half-baked.
It was my first attempt at integrating with Imperial society. Biological bodies are hard, and I couldn't really get the neutron firing thing down right, hence the shakes.
I noticed.
But I still want to reiterate, I don't like this situation one bit either. This is the exact kind of thing I wanted to actually stop you from doing.
Which is to say?
Okay, so I wanted to have a conversation with you all in private. Like, no eyes, no ears, a place nobody else knows, where no one will listen to us.
Well,
And you accomplish that by breaking into my quarters, stealing the STC, and not explaining anything. And still
Look.
giving the coordinates.
Let me put this in perspective for you, right? You've committed the crimes of trespassing, theft, and abandoning your post, and you expect us to sit here and listen to what you've got to say instead of arresting or, following protocol and eliminating you on the spot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to take the high and mighty horse with me for theft? I've
no.
committed much greater crimes than that.
Um,
Oh, let's just add that to the list. Wanted criminal.
No, what I did was took a very dangerous item out of the hands of people that I respect very greatly, but had no idea what they were getting into. You have no idea what's stored on that STC. No idea that.
Enlighten us.
Okay, here's an example. He pulls something out of his chest cavity and slaps it on the floor. It's a little shaped charge, about the size of a crack grenade.
Mm-hmm.
He points at it and he goes, "That's a strategic atomic demolition munition. That thing could level this entire ship, your ship, and probably most of the asteroid field."
Mm-hmm.
oh.
Devices that destroy suns, create black holes, things that should never see the light of day again. This relic being one of them as he slams on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
Wait that's kind of concerning. JB, what is that relic?
This is the thing that almost destroyed the Imperium. Well, technically, not really, but it's the frame for an original Man of Iron. I say original because they were, well, constantly being improved upon. Anyway, it's not actually my original body. I'm something that you'd call a man of stone, a builder, a creator, a giver of life, not death.
And an abominable intelligence.
And an abominable intelligence. Oh, love that
And
word.
I mean,
Do you have an alternative that you prefer?
Synthetic silicone-based life form?
Something a bit shorter.
Robot. You're a robot.
Yes, Sil, I'm a robot.
consider the you know what?
Can I even
No.
arrest the robot?
You could try.
So,
Are robots confined to the same laws that people are?
If you want to be technical, I do not believe the Book of Judgment has any passages that apply to artificial life forms such as himself. Unless, of course, they are from human gene stock, which he is not.
So I can't technically arrest him.
no, you can't.
So- Let's get down to business, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want?
I want you to let me edit the STC, and I say edit because all I want to do is remove all of the little devices that could possibly destroy our fragile little galaxy in the state it currently resides in.
No.
So, Conrad,
Basically,
Yes.
don't want you guys building fucking doomsday weapons, okay? I don't know how much simpler I could put it.
No.
Sil, maybe we should, as a group, make this decision.
What are you trying to say, Laura?
Considering how things work right now, if the Mechanicus got a hold of that STC, what do you
Use it
think
to
would
blow
happen?
up the entire
That's a very
goddamn
good
galaxy.
reason. There's a very good reason we've been keeping it away from them.
Exactly. But with this further knowledge about what's actually on it, I think that the safer option, despite the painful loss of knowledge is preferable.
You have my word that I will leave in all of the other programming on the STC in regards to production and creation. All I want is to
I have one question for you,
stop
Katie.
somebody from causing another revolution.
I have one question for you.
What?
Is there information on the STC that equivalates to building a... How's artificial intelligence? Is that better than abominable?
A little better, a little closer to what the really reality is.
Again, I just need something easy to say, but...
It's a
But
number
is
for me.
there anything on there that can build another artificial intelligence such as yourself? And is there anything on there that can be an artificial intelligence that can grow to exponential, intelligence?
That is one of the blueprints I was planning on destroying, yes. There is a blueprint on the SDC to create similar life forms like myself. And the worst part is, it being an SDC, it can guide you the entire step of the way from raw materials all the way to finished product. Hence, why I don't want it in the Mechanicus hands, as even a fucking idiot could use one of these.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the problem with STCs and their fragments.
Are you planning on getting rid of everything involving artificial intelligence? Or just the ones that are smart enough to think for themselves and improve?
I was originally planning on wiping it all. But if you wish, there are a couple low-grade AIs I could keep in service, I suppose.
The equivalent
Nothing.
of servitors?
Mm, they would be miles above a servitor's level.
I would very
Could you get
much
rid of-
appreciate it.
Could
Could you get rid of the explosives on the floor? I don't like it.
Explosives in the floor?
the
you not-
charge Laura
you,
gestures at the
line
crack
of
grenade
mass
sized weapon of mass destruction.
Oh yeah, that, right. He picks it up off the floor and slaps it back in his chest cavity.
So then, beyond that, I think that's the only stipulation I have, because I think that would be, well, personally anyway, I think that I'd much rather have them than actual servitors running around.
We could easily disguise them as overactive machine spirits.
Just to let you know, this will be the AI in question will be a prototype for the Men of Stone, which is the caste I come from, which means they won't be able to do much in the case of war, but
I don't need them for that.
research, development, a strong pair of hands. They'll suit you well for that.
Good.
Can they fortify?
I suppose so. They are builders. Fortifications are buildings.
Then that's good enough.
And also, just to be sure we're on the same page, they do not have the ability to learn. As in, once they're out, that's as smart as they're ever going to be, yes?
They are completely self-centered loops that can only run the tasks they are programmed to do.
Excellent.
Good to know. Excellent. Delightful. Wonderful.
I don't think I have any other stipulations for anything we should save, because I agree that anything that has the capability of leveling planets, we already have enough weapons like that. We don't need more.
No, we're not talking planets. We're talking devices that could take an entire sector off of the face of the map within seconds.
Okay. Well, you have to understand that I am merely talking about I want things below the power level of destroying planets, at most. Anything beyond that's already off the list.
And I am getting rid of the Man of Iron STC. You can't stop me.
I have no plans on stopping you.
I could, but I don't want to.
I am in agreement that needs to go.
Oh, JB deeply sighs,
Uh huh.
looks at the big ass assault cannon on his arm and goes, I don't even know if this thing is loaded or not. I probably would have been screwed if you wanted to kill me.
I could maybe check for you.
Again, I'm not much of a destroyer. Anyway, if I could just have the STC, this shouldn't take more than a moment.
By the way, JB,
Hmm?
out of curiosity, that corpse over there, you have any like tie to it?
Oh, no. Some of
Excellent.
the inner workings I would like to get back.
Is your
No.
brain
As
one of them?
again,
Is your former brain one of them?
um, I have a few things, a few implants on the body I would like to retrieve for my next organic experiment.
I'll make sure to
Well,
return
listen,
them to
the
you.
entire reason that we haven't, well, the entire reason I haven't given the order to kill you is because, by my own rules, you already kind of died. It's just unfortunate that that doesn't seem to stop you.
Well, that's one hell of a loophole.
Yeah,
The
we
only
usually
reason-
know
you're
many
lucky.
people that do that.
The only reason I haven't tried to kill you is because you had stuff to say, and it's just rude to cut people off.
So,
Oh,
I'm
good.
going to give him the SDC.
He plugs it into the computer, runs some lines of code faster than your eye can trace, and then unplugs it and hands it back to you.
Now then, am I supposed to somehow explain to my crew that you're coming back with us, or do you want to stay here?
How far out did it go?
Say again?
How far out did the information go? Does the whole crew know? Just a few select people?
Shax was the one who brought you missing to me. And so Shax is the only one who was there as I put everything together. He was briefed on it. I didn't brief anyone else on it personally. So Shax may have told some other key members of the crew about your
Oh
defection.
no, Shax's always. You can always trust Shax to keep his mouth shut.
Well, if you believe that he would not have told the rest of any other members of the crew without my explicit order to do so, then Shax
I
is the
don't
only
think
one who
he
knows.
would until he confirmed that what I did was a bad thing, and that I was really a traitor.
Hmm.
Which, again, when I brought up the possibility, he seemed convinced that there was something else to it. So, you were more than likely right. So in that case, again, Shax is the only one who has any inkling that anything happened to you.
Awesome. So, wait, I can't come back in this thing.
Obviously.
Hmm.
It would take a rather lot of convincing.
Yeah, no, there's no way you could spread that.
We could just stuff you in a giant box and then bring you back.
Oh yeah, and I just stay in the box for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Well, you could go back to your little biodome, and just no one without the right access can go in. Clearance, I mean.
Body isn't exactly designed for cultivating life, you know?
Then fix it.
Replace the gun with a shovel.
Well, listen. If you want to be technical here, because what the did you want to get a Man of Stone as your original body? Like a chassis of some description?
You know, the problem is, I thought I had one. But apparently somebody hollers at nobody in particular, aiming his shouts at the ship, decided that it needed to get dismantled for parts so we could keep emergency power running.
Wait a second.
So,
He yelled at
I
the
assume that your ship is alive.
It's a similar AI to the ones you want to keep. The basic closed loop program.
Smart enough to know its job and the ramifications thereof.
Yeah. Any smart quips when I holler at it like that.
Well then. Does your ship have the capability of producing something like that?
Before we had our hands on an STC, but the materials are, well, the specialized materials are kind of rare. And even though I have facilities aboard here to produce them, I'll still need a massive amount of raw materials to get myself started.
Entire planet.
And
Yeah.
solar system. That is all mine.
Mhm.
How rare are these elements exactly? Because I'm fairly certain they occur naturally somewhere in this system.
Most of it should be a short shopping list. But the one thing that does concern me is, well, how do I put it?
Doesn't exist.
Oh, it
Yeah.
certainly does exist. It's just only for a small fraction of a second between two chemical reactions.
Wait,
It's capturing it in that split second that's the tricky part.
Are we talking about like antimatter or something?
Essentially, yes.
boy.
Although think of it more like warp antimatter?
Oh, wonderful.
Mm.
So we're saying that we are talking about stuff that not even the Imperium, when the Emperor was around.
It's very similar to some of the devices I've seen your Ordo use.
Wait.
Didn't I eat some of that stuff?
Uh-oh, Jordan just left.
Hello again.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I was trying to ask about if it was basically stuff that not even the Emperor at the height of the Imperium could get reliably. Because that's what it
Yeah,
sounds like.
no. It wasn't discovered until the very fall of the Imperium, actually. Or rediscovered, I should say.
So what I'm hearing is that if we really want to get it, we're going to do some time traveling.
Well,
Not quite.
the way to actually get this stuff is a byproduct of time travel.
Excellent.
Product of actually reality trying to snap back after somebody is with time. That reaction in that split second where time is kind of not sure where everything is, you can capture some of this unobtainable element, which is basically pure, unadulterated anti-warp energy that could power a battery for the next 5,000 years, 10,000 years, 20,000 years.
So as an example, would it be something akin to us shifting the ship through time, and you and having built something on our ship to basically be like a capture rig, for lack of a better way of putting it?
Well, the way that they had it set up is they never knew the direct causation between it and time travel. Like they didn't know they could use the same material to create devices that can travel through time. All they used it for was an energy source. So they created kind of miniature Big Bangs that were absorbed into super dense black holes to create the effect.
Right.
So, I mean, you're kind of in uncharted territory for both of you.
Well, again, we have a ship that phases through time when we so desire, and the anchor is ready. It is an anchor, right, Red?
No.
What the
It's
fuck
a
is it
root.
called? Okay, it's a root.
Mercury calls it an anchor, and he's wrong.
And he's wrong. Anyway, yeah. So JB can get that started at the very least, but until the project's done or he can find another organic body, he's going to be confined to his ship here.
Fun.
And just while you all are mulling over your next move, I think I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. Sorry, I have to pee. Be right back.
I think, just to inform the party what Conrad's thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is we're probably just going to leave JB here for the time being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we get back to the ship, if Shax approaches Conrad about what exactly happened, I'm going to inform him that it's on the level of inquisitorial business where it is considered an info hazard. Which is to say that telling Shax about it would mean that I have to kill Shax. Which is technically true.
Yeah, technically
Right.
true.
And by extension, part 2 of this is when we get back onto the ship, we grab Gord, our local mad scientist, and ask him some pointed questions about all this.
Mm-hmm. Some very pointed questions.
I could always see if Annihilation might be able to help. If
I
can
don't
wake
think
him up.
Annihilation really deals with anti-warp stuff as much as he deals with, the destruction of everything.
Well, I mean, we
The
ate
warp
stuff
is a
that one
thing.
time. We ate the warp that one time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that you're devouring it. I don't know if that's really doing what the anti-warp material does, however that works.
I'm back.
Welcome
Well,
back.
Maybe the act of consuming it could lead us to the act of, containing it.
Sill's talking about using Annihilation in order to, trigger anti-warp stuff.
Yeah, no. JB would probably caution you against any chemistry experiments with the substance, as like antimatter, if it touches anything that's made of warp stuff, you're going to detonate a warp rift that will basically create a new Eye of Terror.
Says the
Oh.
criminal.
That's not fun.
Beyond that, given the fact that Annihilation has eaten the warp before and nothing terrible has happened, again, I'm of the opinion that it annihilates rather than actually causes any kind of reaction. Just wholesale gone.
I don't know.
I will also... Go ahead, Sal.
Oh, this is just all above my pay grade.
I'll also inform JB that effectively the plan at the moment is that we're going to go back to the ship, leave him here until we can figure out some way to get what he... There may not be a biological body. I'm probably going to talk to Gord about that in terms outside of you, because
My
if Shax
ship
approaches
is more
me...
than capable of following you.
Well, again,
This
it's a
FTC
matter
was
of the...
the piece I needed to turn on my engine, so...
Well, here's the matter of the fact, right? I'm going to be declaring anything on this ship effectively an info hazard. I.e., if Shax tries to ask me what happened to you, I'm going to inform him that I can't tell him, because the information itself is dangerous. Which is true, to be frank.
But you're
And by
Conrad.
extension, I don't exactly know... I don't want to undermine the trust of the crew too much by having said info hazard follow us around. You feel me?
I don't mean like off your port side, but the ship has advanced stealth capabilities, so I'm more than capable of following you from a couple 100,000 miles away,
As long
undetected.
as long as you're certain you're not going to pee on augers.
It's been hiding here for a very long time. If nobody's found it now, I doubt anyone will find it ever again.
So why was your ship here anyway?
A good hiding spot.
Yo. I've made the worst deal of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Exchange for the knowledge I needed on, the knowledge I was missing on the human nervous system. I had to, how do I put it? Park here for the rest of eternity on the same pretense that there are things on this ship that could destroy the entirety of the galaxy if we weren't safe.
Ah, I see. Who did you strike that deal with exactly?
Well, I think his name was Malcador?
Malcador, you
Oh,
mean?
Yeah, that guy. The short one who's always following your emperor around.
that motherfucker.
The grumpy one.
Yes, he agreed with my sentiments that the things stored on STCs and thereof are far and by far mostly dangerous to the Imperium in its current state.
So yes. Well, do what you can do to stay as close to the ship as possible. Make sure we don't catch you, please. And unless there's anything else you need to inform us of, I think we're going to go back and see how we can solve our little predicament here.
One thing before you go,
Hmm.
if I could have one of your data pads, I could rig it up to run a, how do I put it? Virtual copy of the ship here. You to send and receive messages from me.
Laura holds up her data pad.
So he plugs a wire into it from the console there, and after a couple seconds he hands it back to you. Basically,
Mhm.
now you can on command take half a turn to shift it over to contact him.
Excellent. Delightful.
It also gives you like a basic readout of a ship and basic controls over doors, airlocks, the like.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
So then, with that settled, we're going to head back to our ship.
And Laura's going to grab the body of the body because what?
You leave
He
that
already-
till I'm done with it.
He wants to
No.
recover his own cybernetics. Don't you remember?
Okay. I was going to return anything he said he needed, but okay.
Why are you looking in that body?
It's a little suspect.
So then, with that done and dusted,
Come back.
Mhm.
So everyone flies back over to the Apollyon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The ship about faces and heads back to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you have another roughly day of smooth sailing.
Shax never comes for a debrief about what was on that ship.
He sends you a notice over the internal message systems that basically, if you feel like talking to it about him, okay, but if not, he understands because, you know, being stabbed in the back is a hell of a thing. You probably don't want to talk about it.
Well, I think I am going to go ahead and actually go down to the sanctum, right? And I will inform that I'm coming down there, and then, we're going to, I'm going to internal message him if there's a private place.
There's always a private place on the ship if you know where to look.
Okay? Well, I would like to meet up with him and go to one of these private places, and what I'm basically going to tell him is that what was on that ship, I very much consider an info hazard.
So, the secret place that he has you meet him is a place you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
It's the air venting and ducting and like internal maintenance shafts that go above the Mechanicus sanctum.
Oh, where Lurvin runs around all the time, and I know because of that.
Yeah. So it's actually not
Okay.
that hard to find him.
All right. But again, I'm just basically going to explain to him that, what I saw there was an info hazard, and I'm sure he already knows what I mean by that.
You get some. He's very slowly nodding at you as you talk. Like he's
As I what?
picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, good. And so by extension, effectively the entire incident is going to be black booked for right now, and we're putting it off to the side. And the only other thing I feel comfortable even letting you know is that I don't think JB was well, JB was doing what he thought was right.
I thought as much. He's a good kid.
Correct. Now then, I just felt I should give you some amount of closure on that.
Thank you.
No problem. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and just ask Shax before it slips my mind and while we're still here. He's more of the NGCer, not so much the biologist, yes?
Yes, he deals with mostly mechanical bits and bobs.
Right. There is something I need to debrief with you later on, but that's going to happen in the quarters later, just so you know. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and dip and go to Gordon.
Okay.
And when I get to Gordon, I am basically going to take him, pull him into some dark corner somewhere, and ask him what he knows about biology and the creation of humans. And those exactly in that kind of sentence.
He played around with creating like components of a person before, you know, like regrowing arms, legs, stuff like that, but never a full human body. The brain and the nervous system is a hell of a thing to try to figure out.
What would be, hypothetically, mind you, Gord, how would one go about that? Besides, of course, finding a Krieger ship and stealing what we need out of there. Or going to Krieg, actually.
Well, the first thing to do would probably find good original material to use. After all, if you want an army of clones, then they're going to have to be at least half stable.
So start with the base.
A good base, too.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you need a ton of energy and nutrients in order to grow the thing, as well as all the specialized equipment therein that's required.
Okay.
Oh, and then we'd have to keep all of this a secret,
Because it's incredibly illegal.
even by Inquisition standards.
Yes.
But it is feasible.
Oh, also, we're going to have a meeting with all the tech heads in a while, such as you, Shax, and I'm going to either get the Risen or maybe one of her NGCers to attend, because we have to talk about the rebuilding process.
Oh boy, rebuilding.
Yes, quite.
Man, building infrastructure is the worst. It's so
I think-
boring.
Well, Gord, if it was going to be nothing but infrastructure, you really think I'd invite you?
I don't know, maybe. I'm sure you have a death factory or two planned somewhere, but eh.
As long as you know me. With that, I'm going to leave Gord, and then I'm going to hunt down the fucking Risen. Or, basically hunt down the Risen and just inform her that I want to have a talk with either her or an NGCer or anything of that nature, so we can talk about the rebuilding process of Hell.
Well, you have to Vox call her.
Okay.
Because, yeah, she's still currently clearing out, well, the rest of the hive.
Right. Now that they have a launching off point.
Right. So you have to Vox her, and she's in the middle of combat.
Oh, well. Excellent.
So yeah, you hear
Good.
thumps, crashes, boom, screaming.
I'm going to tell her, you know what? I'll just get back to you later.
No, this is fine.
Okay, well, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to have a council with Shax and Gordon and someone from your faction, either yourself or an NGC or whoever you think would be more knowledgeable in the subject of rebuilding.
Rebecca should be still kicking around on the Apollyon somewhere. She should be able to fill my spot.
All right. With that done, I'm going to go ahead and also inform the party that I'm going to be holding a meeting about rebuilding Hell.
Oh, excellent.
So whoever wants to be there can, of course, attend. It's not mandatory.
Okay.
I think it goes without saying Laura's probably going to be there because, yes.
Oh, also, probably going to send a communique over because Drake and all of the other people are still in the station, right?
They've been making preparations to move to the Spire since it was captured, but they haven't actually made the move yet.
Okay, well, I'm going to vox over there to get in contact with Drake to inform him that I'm going to be holding this council meeting about things, and I want going to be sending a shuttle over, if at all possible, to pick him up, to bring him to the Apollyon, so he can meet with my experts, and we can discuss
That's reasonable.
this. Excellent. Is there anyone else I should know of that you're going to be bringing with you for this that you think should be there?
Unfortunately, all of our architects are dead, so no.
Okay. So yeah, send a shuttle over, and that's mostly going to be the thing we have to wait on. Is just Drake getting over here.
Yeah.
And of course, I will make contact with Rebecca to inform her that I'm going to be having a talk about it, and the Risen wants her to fill her seat.
He'll be there.
Excellent. Any news from the Astropaths while I wait?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're done their probing, so to speak.
What's the verdict?
They weren't aiming to possess her with a demon. So
Okay,
she's
were they just
either
trying
on
to
any
mutate her?
demonic influence. They were just trying to mutate her.
How corrupted is she?
She's not past like the point of no return, but it's still a long road to recovery, as Magnus puts it.
Okay. On a scale of, well, basically I'm asking, can you as Mike, can you give me a number in these terms of the game system?
Yeah, she's got about 10.
Oh,
Rookie numbers.
incredibly rookie numbers.
Yeah, apparently when people come to rescue you, you kind of put up a bit of a fight when, people try to turn you into an insane mad woman. AKA, she fucking nailed some willpower rolls.
Hell
Gotcha.
yeah.
So yeah, in that case, I'm going to assume that she's also out and about at this
Yes.
point, or no?
Yeah, she's out.
Okay. Well, obviously, Conrad's going to make time to go with Peppermint to make sure. Yeah, I did say it right that time. Ha!
Yeah.
Haha.
Just to let
I had
you
to fucking
know,
stop myself.
her face is covered with a mask, and her tentacle arm is all bandaged up into like a little stump, so that mutations aren't visible.
Yes. Conrad's absolutely going to make time for her as we're cruising our way back to Hell, and I'm waiting on Drake to show up.
All right, a little bit of girl time.
Mm-hmm. Show her around the ship a little bit, show her some things I'm sure she's going to find interesting.
Very, very interesting, she says as one of Shax's boys walks by.
Fucking hot, right? See what I get to deal with on a daily fucking basis?
End of stress. Ugh.
So yeah.
So you get peppermint a tour of the ship. There's lots of oohs and ahs and gal pal talk. And whilst you're doing that, Senorita Sill,
Yes.
so you came back to the cells, right?
Uh-huh.
And you basically like straight up's like, fuck it, I have nothing to do. I'm gonna sleep.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as you like smacked your head down to your desk to sleep, like you've done a million times, a lullaby from your home planet starts to softly play, and you kind of snap back awake, like, what the fuck is that?
Uh-huh.
And the second you do snap awake and like sit up, the music stops.
That's not how that works. What was that?
So you call out into the empty guard room again, and somebody from the cells screams something back at you incoherently.
Did I fucking tell you could talk?
You get a grumble.
That's what I fucking thought. Going back to sleep.
Okay, the second you try to go back to sleep, the lullaby starts to play again.
Fuck it.
Fuck it, just gonna sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you pass out, you wake up in a very similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically standing in front of most of Barnabas's butchered team on Hivespire Novigrad, smack dab in the middle of the assault.
Mm-hmm.
Only when you look through the door, the party is already over there. And you're holding a hammer.
Oh.
And the scene plays out pretty much the same. It gets up to the point where you launch the grenade launcher, and all the Dark Eldar disappear off into different corners of the ground, because, you know, grenade just went off in their faces. Kairos turns around, and you sprint over and smash him with your hammer as hard as you can feasibly hit him, or, well, the other you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, he goes crashing through, I don't know, probably like 4 levels of hull hive plating before a warp rift opens up that slowly begins to swallow Hivespire Novigrad.
Oh, that's
As
not
the
good.
warp rift starts to open up, someone starts playing sad music behind you.
Who the fuck is behind me?
When you turn around and ask that question, there's a berobed space marine carrying what looks like kind of like a combi tool if someone had made a combi tool out of musical instruments.
Mm-hmm.
There's bits for piano, lute. There's bits you can blow air into. And as you say that, he kind of stops and stares right at you.
Who are you?
I don't know. Who are you?
I'm Sil.
Oh, that's a nice name. I guess I play music, so you could just call me Bard, I guess?
Okay.
Nice to meet you. He sticks his gigantic hand out.
I'm going to attempt to shake the giant hand.
It looks funny, but it works.
So what are you doing here?
Playing music.
You're just playing music as this place is destroyed?
No, all I was doing was help paint the picture a little more vividly. It's your brain that thought all this up. Well, more
What?
specifically, maybe somebody else's brain, but yours nonetheless.
What are you doing in my brain?
Well, I'm here to make sure that something like this again doesn't happen.
Well, it didn't.
I know. But look, I don't really have any answers. If I did, I'd give them to you.
Are you part of that whole thing that the Emperor gave me?
Probably.
The whole thing that keeps me from getting really, really mad and, doing really bad things.
The only thing I remember from when I woke up was being told that I'm basically a moral compass. Not sure what that means.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Yeah, I know what you are now.
Right. Well, if you know what I am, then there's not much for me to worry about. I'll just sit here and do what I do.
Right. Guess I'm just gonna watch this then, because, can't learn if I don't know what happened.
Ah, well, I can assist you with that. Day basically sings you a song that tells you basically what happened after Cairo smashed through the panels. Which is to say, he got really fucking mad, killed himself, and caused a warp rift to appear.
Hmm.
Yeah, he had a bit of a temper tantrum.
Looks like he's a sore loser.
Seems so. And you kind of stand there for about 10 more minutes. You have
Yeah.
about 10 more minutes before you wake up. Just kind of watching a warp rift engulf Hive Spire Novigrad while a bard plays some eerie ass music in the background.
Yep.
And like that, you wake up.
Yep.
What kind of drugs do you do, right?
I do drugs of sleep.
So yeah, that was an experience.
Yep. Captain.
Brad's dead. Actually, I think. No?
Yes.
I think I've got a voice in my head again.
What?
You remember how you wait? You weren't there for that, were you? Remember when we fought Kairos and the Hive Spire again?
Again?
Yeah, he was there in the Hive Spire, and we fought him.
Yes, I remember doing that once. I don't remember doing that twice.
Well, no, we've encountered him in the past. Is why I said again.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way it was worded, I thought you meant like we fought him more than once in the Hive Spire.
I mean, technically, but not really. Look,
Right.
ignoring all that, basically, I got really, really mad, and then the Emperor came and he gave me a thing, and he's like, "Hey, stop getting mad." And I finally figured out what was in that thing, and it's a Space Marine.
Of course it is.
He plays music, and that's like all he does. Except I think he's in my head now.
Do you have like a personal soundtrack or something?
Oh no, yeah. He sat there and played music while I watched what happened when I fucked up and actually, you know, beat Kairos. I beat him into the floor, and then he opened a warp rift beneath the house fire.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's a thing now. I don't like it. Am I not going to be able to get normal sleep anymore?
It's just that sometimes you're going to have very vivid dreams of places you've never really been. And then sometimes places you've definitely been.
I don't like dreams.
Unfortunately, we need them to think, so here we are.
I just thought I'd go to you since you've got voices in your head.
Well, unfortunately, none of them do anything quite as interesting as sing to me.
Oh,
Lurvine pipes up for the first time in a long while that I could sing.
I never said you couldn't. It's just a matter of the fact that you don't now, do you?
You hear him intake breath, and then I start.
A what?
Logan basically in your brain grabbed him by his proverbial mouth to stop him.
Gotcha.
He basically was like, "I'll take you on," inhaled breath, and was like, "No."
Stop that.
Get some help.
I'm trying to get help.
Damn it.
What are you trying to do, Sil?
Get help!
Sil, there is no help.
Damn it!
We are the help.
And besides that, it's not like it's an actual problem. Because, I mean, can you talk to him? Is he there all the time?
I don't know. I forgot to ask that.
Well, listen. Try to talk to him right now. Go into your headspace and just speak. Kind of like you're thinking something.
I'm going to think rather aggressively.
You get no response.
There's nothing there.
Okay, then you are not at the stage that I am in my insanity, where you have legitimate people who live inside of your brain and speak to you whenever they so choose or whenever you speak to them. So,
And you're pretty
Well-
sure you can hear Logan beating the shit out of Lurvine in the back of your brain.
exactly.
Like you can hear the meaty threats.
So,
The
at the
one
end
that
of the
does
day,
that is asleep.
right, exactly. So, he probably isn't that much of a problem to begin with. And if it ever becomes a problem, then we can figure out what we can do about it, yes?
Okay.
Excellent. All right, that's that.
Right.
Still had something to say?
I'm just gonna do paperwork now.
Okay.
To let you know how that works mechanically, Sil. You can basically request Bard play a song, and it'll kind of warp reality to create the scene he is singing about.
Okay.
So you can basically be like, "Hey, yo, play that song, a song about that time that Horus almost killed the Emperor," and he'll play it, and the scene will warp around you to that scene. So that could be fun if Sil had, like, I don't know, 30 more intelligence.
Yeah.
No. It's just be, hey Bard, sing me a song about that time I clotheslined Malkazet.
There you go. Now you're
It
thinking
was a
quarters.
comic.
That aside, everything would be set in place now for your conference.
Hoorah! Besides Laura, who in the party's coming?
Me.
Okay.
Because Redden wants to put in his cheese factory idea.
Firstly, go fuck yourself for making such bland assumptions.
Going to be a galactic cheese emporium.
So,
He's
the
already.
one thing I have to ask is I never really settled where you're holding the conference.
It's going to be in the captain's conference room.
All right. Then you'd be able to meet with him at any time. Everybody is aboard.
All right. Well, let's get it over with.
All right. So the people you requested, Shax, Rebecca, and whom else?
Shax, Rebecca, Gordon.
In Gord.
Yeah.
Would meet you three up there.
So, yeah,
Gord's playing with a finger trap, by the way.
of course he is.
I think he's ready for boredom.
Wait, what's Gord doing?
He's playing with a finger trap.
Oh, wonderful.
Because he thinks that we're going to be talking about nothing but infrastructure this whole fucking time. So, we're going to do the first part. It's going to be mostly boring stuff about priorities and exactly what infrastructure needs to be taken online first, which is mostly going to be things like spaceports and I imagine the superhighway are going to be our main focuses to begin with.
Well, the first big hurdle that's going to come for putting people back on Hell is clean food and water.
Right?
Because before you can do anything else, those two things need to be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, most hive cities and spires have purification systems, at least for water distillation. If we can get the sumps back online, then we have water taken care of.
And it's just food is the next hurdle.
Which I do believe. How much arable land does Hell have? Which is say farmable.
Would be the one to inform you that despite the limited space of like actual farmland that they have, thanks to the terrace system of farming, they're able to utilize it to feed most of the population before the end actually came. And if they could get back up and running, then theoretically you could feed the entire population without the need of an agri-world for at least a little while.
Until the population really starts to exponentially grow again.
Given
But
the
again,
small amount of survivors, that would take generations.
right. So what that basically means is that, we secure some of these old farms close to High Spire and Novigrad, because obviously that's going to be the first spire we try to truly rebuild. And we ensure that we get that set up. So we have food, and then we have the things that Laura was talking about for water, and that should be enough to really start off the, rebuilding efforts from there.
Right.
Because that's point is just expanding from those two things.
Right. But we can focus like most of the rebuilding of the infrastructure on getting those two objectives filled first and then build up after that.
Correct.
Although most of the highway remains intact, there's only a few places that it's actually fully collapsed.
Right.
Problem is, though, definitely bodies.
We just don't have that many people.
Yeah. I mean, even if everybody on Hell went 24/7, 365, in a year's time, they wouldn't be that much better off than they were now.
Right.
If you secure the entire planet, like, the population is so small that it'll take them at least another 100 years to get back up to a manageable small population size.
So you're saying we have like a few hundred people? At
You
most?
could capture 2 farms and be done. Like you're rebuilding, you don't have to rebuild on a massive planet-sized scale yet. You can concentrate your efforts to just the hive.
Well, how large is the Clan of Wonder?
Give or take, before they cast off with you, they had about 50,000 members.
Uh huh.
Again, some got left behind, and others have just kind of disappeared here and there, so they're a little under that now.
But they basically outnumber the actual population of Hell by, like, a few powers.
Yeah.
Okay. Because between them and the regiment, that's a lot of labor that we can utilize, right?
Yeah.
Particularly the clan. Because the guard isn't going to be good for much outside of manual labor, right? And that's mostly just clearing things out and rubble and debris and sorting salvage at most. As far as I'm concerned. Because I wouldn't trust them with anything too much more complicated than that, right?
Rebecca does bring up the fact that the clan could probably rip up some mechanized tractors from the scrap that's collected to kind of make everything a little easier on the whole infrastructure and moving things around the like.
Right, I was going to say that having something like auto cars or jury rigs, something to be able to move around mass materials from farms to other places and then move scrap is great. What the hell was it? On top of that, I'm thinking of maybe, and here's the toughie for everyone here, right? Which is why I made sure that you're as vast a degree of characters as possible, and also I need Gord to pay attention. I'm going to snap my fingers for this next part.
He visibly stops and looks up.
Because here's the thing, people. I'm thinking of making Novigrad, and, well, at least Hivespire Novigrad for the time being, a free port.
The starport?
Yes.
You actually cut out there for a bit for me.
Making Hivespire Novigrad and, the spire, like basically the spires, and when we get it functioning as a spaceport, right? A free port. If you get what I'm trying to say.
I would if my internet would agree with me.
Make it a free port!
Okay, got it. I got that one.
What does the table have to say to that?
Gord says that's idea. Shax doesn't like it, and Rebecca's kind of like, we need money.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean when I say in a free port, by the way?
Like, other spacefaring cultures could, like, trade with you and stuff?
More or less freely, i.e. pirates, anything from official traders to pirates and everything in between.
Yeah. I guess there's a place I have in mind that could be used for something like that, actually.
Who's saying this?
Drake.
Okay, where is this place?
It's on the other side of the planet. But okay, so just to let you know, the part of the planet that the Hive Spire is actually on is the nicer side of the planet.
Naturally.
The other side of the planet has a lot more of the magnetic electro storms. So, anyway, there's only one port on that side of the planet, making it stupid easy to control air traffic in and out, given that the only way through all of the electromagnetic interference is under, well, the knowledge of Drake here.
Right.
So if you do want to set up like a free port for Xenos and all of that, at the very least, there's a place that they could go where they're not landing in the middle of the hive.
Um,
Yes, Laura?
we could set it up in the outer sprawl of the hive.
Particularly, here's, I think, how we're going to do it, right? Because Xenos are probably going to be rare, if they come at all, right? And so, we'll do Drake's idea for anything like that makes contact with us, right? But again, I would like leaders and even unsavory types, because right now we need anything and everything we can get. So at least for the time being, Novigrad would allow people like that in it. Everyone get where I'm coming from?
Nods
Yes.
all around the table.
And besides that, again, we have an entire guard regiment and the Clan of Wonder to muscle any pirate crew who has any ideas, right? As well as 2 ships.
Well, when you put it like that,
What?
I mean, it doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. You've certainly had time to think about this.
Right. So yeah, that's my proposition for making sure that our wheels start turning quickly, because that should increase the number of people we get here. We get immigrants, hopefully, from desperate bands, things like that. If it really push comes to shove, we could always perhaps find, well, impressment isn't out of the question if it comes to it, but hopefully it won't come to it.
If anything, at the very least, to create some kind of policing force to keep semblance of law and order.
Which we can start that off with the shell of what's left of the PDF.
Well, that's my concerns done and dusted with. Is Drake kind of finishing up.
All right, Shax, what's your problem?
You know, vagabonds.
The same concerns you have with the
Next.
Clan of Wonder to begin with.
I'll follow your lead on this one, boss. But if shit goes south, don't say I didn't say, tried to warn you.
I understand. Again, I understand that it's a dangerous proposition, but also I think it's the only proposition we really have outside of, well, the 2 ways I see it, right, is what I'm going to tell Shax is this. Either we go this route and, take the riskier option, but stay independent, or we invite the Administratum to shove their massive, bureaucracy up my ass.
I don't think you're too on board for that one.
Exactly.
Although when you get big enough, they're going to come knocking anyway.
And then I'm going to say official Inquisition business and shove it down their throat.
Right. Well, I've aired my concerns, so this is what
Anyone
you want
else?
to do?
Gordon, Rebecca, you have any counterpoints?
It's literally like it's a free port. And I can kidnap people, and Rebecca instantly gives them this like, what the fuck is wrong with you look?
Gordon, when we say a free port, that means we
I'm
accept all
just
kinds
saying,
of
there's
persons.
going to be a massive amount of migrants coming to this planet because they want a fresh start. A fresh start is. No offense.
Gordon, if you would like to own and operate a clinic of some description, that is something we can talk about eventually. I'm just saying that, sanctioned kidnapping isn't exactly something I can just sit here and say, yeah, sure, go for it, buddy. You know?
Position. I thought that's what we do.
Anyway, at this point, I think we have the biggest concerns all nice and mapped out. And I'm going to go ahead and do something here, right? And that is the fact that Gord... Well, basically, I'm going to tell Shax to have here right now. We have Gord, Rebecca, and Shax, right? As far as NPCs are... Right?
Yep.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to tell Shax that the rest of this meeting is mostly going to be talking about, the Freeport and its operations. And so he's more than free to leave because I already know that he's against the idea wholesale.
All right, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm going to wait for Shax to leave, right? And now that it's just these two, I'm going to go, all right, that was a lie.
Oh boy.
Back up.
Huh?
Just that was a lie, huh? What?
Yes, I'm here to inform both of you that I have my hands on an STC. And that has quite a wide wealth of information on it.
So Rebecca is kind of like giving you this I knew it look.
Of course you did. You can see the future.
But Gord, for the first time, actually does the finger trap right. Like he just, while staring at you, takes his fingers out of the finger trap and puts it on the table. He just kind of stares at you and then, for real?
Yep.
Yes, Score.
Yeah,
What's on it?
a lot.
Something I think you're going to find very, very interesting.
Something
And-
wonderful.
It's allowed.
What's allowed?
This.
Oh, no, it's highly illegal and I should probably kill you. And I should probably kill myself after, but that's not happening.
We do.
I'm going to go ahead the prototype stone men. Say again?
Is Mike lagging now for anyone else?
I am
Yes.
lagging quite considerably.
Yikes.
It's the freaking 2-3 day thunderstorm that's been coming through my place. Anyway.
Damn.
Yeah. Anyway. Right. So you'd give them the schematic of the Man of Stone for them to look over?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Rebecca's just gonna stare at it intently like she's studying, or it's just amazed wonderment, like a kid in a candy store.
Welcome.
And I'm going to ask Rebecca if she even has the slightest inkling of what she's looking at. I don't mean that in any offensive way, it's just that I don't know if you're technologically inclined personally.
First off, this blueprint is insanely complex, but quite modular in its design.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Meaning that most of the parts are interchangeable in and of each other.
Correct.
Mhm.
And it has the blueprints here for how to make each specific piece, how to do it, what methods to use. I'm fairly certain a child could build one of these with this blueprint.
Mhm.
Which is precisely why I'm not here asking if we can do it, because I know very well we can. The problem becomes if we should and how much. Mostly how much, because I'm fairly certain I want to use them in some capacity. Because again, we have very much a manpower shortage, and beyond that, a specialist shortage.
Well, the material list's kind of steep, so mass production of any kind beyond 100 units might be a little tough. But you could start with 20 or 30 of these, maybe, given the resources we have kicking around we've found.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly, this isn't an exact estimate, but if this blueprint's telling the truth, you should be able to make about a dozen in your first batch, given the most readily available materials already here on the ship, and the little bit we'd have to ship up from hell.
Right.
The only problem I see is this unknown element here.
Right. Which is a problem that we will be focusing on, because, Gord, are you familiar with what that is?
He's literally gonna stare at you for like 2 seconds and be like, it's something that shouldn't exist, right?
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
Going to explain to Rebecca that it's basically anti-warp stuff.
Yeah, you're starting to break her brain now.
All you need to know is that it's most reliably a byproduct of figure out how to harvest reliably, or at least get enough of it. It's used as a power source for these units.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it shows up in any of my visions, I'll make sure you're the first one to know.
Of course, this is the entire reason I wanted you here. And beyond that, when it comes to their assembling and turning them on, I need your opinion on whether or not you believe the clan would be on board. Because I know Shax would probably mutiny. Hence why he was ushered out.
Some of the more progressive members of the clan may struggle against it, but at the end of the day, there are more radicals in our group.
So I shouldn't get too much backlash as long as I'm making sure that the clan is the one who handles the task.
Although they are a chatty bunch.
I am aware.
If you want to keep it
becomes-
secret, using the clan isn't the best method.
Yes, it becomes a matter of the fact of if I want to keep it secret.
In the end, I think
Which
it's...
again? Go ahead.
Oh, well, it's a decision that can probably be made at a later date. I very
It's
much...
not like we can make it anyway.
Yeah, I very much doubt it'll happen overnight.
Again, I just like to get opinions so I know what's going to happen. Come to that point. Do you have any opinions, Gord, as far as assembly is concerned?
We're making fucking robots!
Yes, quite. Also, Gord, should I assume that you have contacts in the faceless trade?
I mean, like, it's been a decade. But I know a person.
Okay, who is this contact exactly?
Very, 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 very old friend that worked with me on the sterilization program.
Of course they did.
And Rebecca's face has gone from what the fuck to just horrified.
Yes, Gord has done some interesting things in the past, shall we say. If you would like to leave at this point, Rebecca, I don't require you to be here.
Get up, get the fuck out. Because Gord was just like, yeah, mass sterilizations, faceless trade, I know some people.
I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Exactly. So yes, I would like to get the details about this contact from Gord.
Again, he's his old friend from the sterilization sterilization program and is kind of his main connection to get all of his illegal goods.
Okay. So that means you're still in contact with him?
They haven't made direct contact, like face-to-face or any conversations like that for years, but the pipeline still works. His thrones go up, his gear comes down.
Okay. Well, inform him that he may or may not have a new buyer, depending on what he can get me.
Ooh. Aren't you the naughty one now?
Sword, look at my fucking arm, and look at my ship.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised at this point, but I'll see if I can't make contact to up my supplies. If you do have an order, give it to me before the end of the month.
Okay.
That's all I ask.
I'll think about specifically what I want. But also, well, that's for something for me to think about. So you're free now.
Yeah.
And I told you this meeting wouldn't be completely boring for you.
I know, right? Honestly, half of it was worth just seeing Rebecca's reactions as Ed closes the door.
All right. Before I go to the party, I'm also going to tell Lurvian. Well, I'm going to ask Lurvian if mayhaps getting some Wraithbone for him would be useful.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to make something, I guess I could. Patch up the armor too while we're at it.
Exactly. That's a part of what I was thinking. Make it a bit more Eldari, perhaps. Because again, we're either using it against people who are going to die and having some way to perhaps be mistaken for something else could be useful in certain circumstance.
I mean, hey, when you tell the story that you're attacked by a Dark Eldar Ranger, who the fuck's gonna believe you?
Exactly.
They just don't
And
exist,
beyond,
right?
and beyond that, if we have to position ourselves to be a mercenary, or mayhaps, try to convince what the hell are Dark Eldar raiding groups actually called?
Corsairs, I believe? I believe it's Corsairs or something along those lines.
Well, Corsairs are Eldari raiding groups, I know that.
Yeah.
It's like covens or something like, well, covens are witches. With a Y. Anyway, whatever the fuck they are. Basically, if Conrad has to either pretend to be an actual Xeno mercenary and something like the Faceless Trade, or if we come across another band of Dark Eldar raiders, being able to be like, hey, I'm an independent. You need an extra gun? Or two? Or three?
Maybe about 100,000 slaves?
What was that?
Nothing.
What was that?
Nothing. Just Lurvian being like, I need 100,000 slaves. Don't ask why.
That sounds like you're building something you really shouldn't. But yes.
Yes, he does have one contact that, even though, again, he doesn't use it very often, the connection is still there.
Okay. Is this Lurvian or Gord?
Bored.
Okay, yeah. Again, it's just the fact that he has a foot in the door with a Faceless Trader who will obviously know other Faceless Traders. And then
Yeah.
from there we can keep skipping until we find the people we really need.
Right.
So yes. At this point, I think I'm going to look at the party and be like, I think Stark is probably another person we should talk to if we're going to be promoting ourselves as a free port. So,
Most likely.
because apparently the man knows fucking everyone. And then some.
Probably be a good idea.
So yeah, I'm going to go do that. You people are, of course, free.
All right.
Here, the astropath knows everybody's phone number.
Exactly.
I wonder why.
So yeah, I'm going to meet with Stark and basically be like, so, we're making Hivespire, we're making City Novigrad a free port for reasons I'm sure he can put together on his own.
Okay.
Does that come as a surprise to you?
Not really. I just don't see why I'm involved.
Because Stark, you know everyone and everything. And if I need a marketing man, who else would I go to? Son?
So you want me to talk to some people? Get a trade?
I need to know who you would talk to, is my question to you. Basically, I know about doing this through legitimate channels because I'm going to, well, that's me assuming things. Do you know illegal things, Stark?
Unofficially, yes.
Officially, absolutely not, and you're a golden boy. So unofficially, do you have contacts in the faceless trade?
No, not directly, but I have a brother who's a pirate and makes contact with them regularly.
You have a brother who's a fucking pirate?
Yes. Well, actually, specifically, he's an astropath for the pirate crew.
But I mean, like, that's an insanely important position, which gives him leverage over the captain. That's fucking amazing.
He's a
Who
bit
does he
of a
run
black
with?
sheep. An independent group that operates out of, oh, what was the name of the system now? The Ghoul Stars?
How far away is that from the Eastern Fringe?
It's the farthest point of the Eastern Fringe.
Ah, okay. How close are we to that? Because we're kind of in the boonies ourselves, aren't we?
So it's in official, like, Xenos territory and stuff. It's well outside of the Imperium's actual borders.
Well, again, like, how close is Hellas to that, is my question.
The same amount of warp travel it took you to get to Hell. You
Is Hell like half?
You're going
Go
from
ahead.
the border of the Imperium, basically, out into the vastness of space beyond its border.
Okay. So, okay, at least Hell's in a good position to be a free port, because we are in the boonies.
You're basically smack dab on the very edge of the Eastern Fringe's upper kind of borders of the Imperium.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to tell Stark, basically, is if he wants to contact his brother, right? I don't know, do you care for the guy at all?
I mean, he's never done anything wrong to me personally, and I mean, I haven't seen him in, I don't know, 20 years at this point, ever since he left to the stars, but I'm sure I could probably send him an astropathic message. Time lag might be quite long, though. Could take a couple months to get there.
And then a couple months for him to get here. But if you so choose, I mean, again, this place is going to be a free port, so sending that as an anonymous tip to your brother that you know we're rebuilding might
Put
be a
it
good way
out
to get
on
him over
their
there.
network.
Huh?
Additionally, he could spread that information out on the pirate's own network.
That another free port's trying to build up. So that could be useful for us. And again, if any pirates come along with the idea of maybe toppling us over, we have 2 ships and time travel on our side, so I'm not particularly worried.
How could we possibly lose? Unless someone decides to, I don't know, exterminate us the planet.
That too. But yes, if you could do that for me, I'd be eternally grateful.
Okay.
And also, go ahead.
Oh, I just had a question for you.
Go ahead.
If you're going to set up a free port, could we, I don't know, say, I feel like we're missing out on a very lucrative business opportunity here.
Drugs? Prostitution?
No.
Weaponry? What?
I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me later. I gotta think about it. I just feel like there's some market we're missing here.
Highly dangerous exotic animals to put into death arenas?
I mean, if you want to have a blood sport arena, that's all you, but
I don't know, Stark. I'm just trying to offer things here because I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I don't know. How do I put it? Okay. So, free port means anyone can come and go, right?
Correct.
Now, how many displaced people do you think live in the Imperium?
Trillions.
How many do you think are going to flock to a free port like this?
Hopefully a few million.
We're going to need some system to tax them.
Correct.
Just saying. Again, it's a half-baked thought, but we could probably make a ludicrous amount of money.
By finding some way to tax the people who come in. A tariff, if you would.
Maybe I was thinking something more along the lines of like worker lease contracts. They work under your service for X amount of years and become citizens.
That could work. I like that.
It gives them incentive. It's not draining our coffers. They're not actually being taxed any money, so they're not getting angry. It gives them work. I don't know. It's just a thought, really.
I'll talk to Drake about it. But it certainly works. So yes, I'm going to take all the information. I'm going to go. And I'm going to, send some of that to Drake as an idea.
Right. Doesn't sound bad.
Oh, by the way, was Drake was totally in that room when I started talking about fucking Men of Iron, wasn't he? Oh, I'm sorry, Men of Stone.
No, he basically fucked off as soon as you guys were done talking about like infrastructure. As soon as he saw
Okay.
Nerd Talk was coming, he was like, "Oh fuck no, I know what comes next. Stuff I don't want to
Heretics.
hear about. This is exactly how the planet fell the first time."
Conrad isn't totally just like, where do I get a Dark Eldar mercenary office? Where do I put it?
I could see you just putting it in the main spire, just a little shop beside the other ones.
Yes, and they offer me things that I don't like. I just kill them. That's the law.
You just walk into the next door. It's like, oh, it's a nice bakery. Walk into the next store. Why are there Dark Eldar here in BDSM suits?
Don't worry about it.
But it's still
It's fine.
but it's still a bakery.
Anyway. So that's all wrapped up now.
Yes. Administrative duties, rebuilding a planet. Oh, we should probably also go collect our Blood Angel friend.
You sure that's a good idea?
Well, I mean, we should probably try to make contact with him if at all possible.
Yeah.
See where the fuck he is. I'm going to assume the Risen's basically taken the command position on the world.
She has. She's literally the commanding officer. And when you ask about his whereabouts, she's the one who gives you the answer.
Okay, where the fuck is he?
He's currently staying at your uncle's residence. They seem to be becoming fast friends.
All right, then. I suppose in that case, I'm going, well, actually, there's some stuff I need to do anyway on the planet. So I'm going to be heading down, and I'm going to ask the party if anyone wants to come down with me.
All right. Well, you guys are all figuring that out again. Unfortunately, I have to go to the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
Oh.
Sorry.
Anyone want to come with Conrad?
I mean,
Sure.
Laura has some things of interest still down at the Hive Spire, so yeah.
Anyone want to do anything before we leave for that?
Trying to contact the people I told you about can wait for later.
Okay. We probably only have an hour of session left, so I don't know how much later there's going to be.
True. I don't know how long that's going to take in itself.
Well, again, I know that Conrad's going to go down there, and she's probably going to find her father's suit of armor and the amulet, and that's going to lead to more shit. So I think if you want to get it done this session, you should probably do it before we leave.
Okay. Now my question is, do you want to be there for that?
You mean you contacting those two about it?
Or at least one of them, since Conrad made that deal.
Yeah, no.
With,
yeah, she's absolutely going to be there to witness it.
Well,
Before we go, Redden wants to go to the, well, me and Redden at least are going to the Ordo Chronos conference room.
Right. I mean, you guys have no one stopping you, so...
Yeah.
You got a plan?
Yes, because since basically Conrad and JB needs a new clone for JP, I more or less know who I can at least talk to about where to find that technology.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So Conrad,
Yes?
should we call the big man or dumb bitch?
As much as I hate him, I think Mercury's probably the better of the two options to go for first. Because I don't know how
Yeah.
Horace is going to accept your phone calls.
Fair. I'm gonna call up Mercury.
So, you dial it up, and the projection starts over the table, and you see Mercury sitting in a comfortable-looking lounge surrounded by, I don't know, I'd say about a dozen, like, general rank Imperial Guard. Like Lord Generals and the like. They're all puffing on cigars and enjoying themselves. He goes, "Oh, I have to take this, gentleman, sorry." He gets up and he walks off. Closes the door and goes, "Okay. Hi."
Holy shit, you actually do relax?
No, I'm actually not relaxing right now. All of the men in there are all talking about whether we should exterminate the entire planet or do what could be a 5-year-long grueling campaign.
Politics.
Fun. Anyway. This is gonna sound weird, but do you still have the machines that made me and you, or at least know where those are?
Please don't tell me you want to make more of us.
Oh,
We need a
fuck, no.
clone. Of anything.
Okay.
There's already an extra running around. We don't need more.
Good. There's just one small problem.
Go ahead.
It's on the old ship.
No. The machinery that put you and me together brought us into this world, so to speak. It requires a sample of gene seed.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and bring it down a level, right, Mercury?
No,
If
listen.
we're just talking...
It doesn't work without it. It's specialized to grow people like me and him. It's not like a normal, what do they call them, Vitawombs or whatever?
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Mercury. Where do we get a Vitawoom? Because I just want a base-ass human.
Creek ship. They're one of the few people in the entirety of the galaxy that still has the technology and is allowed to use it.
Do you have any other... So, my options are put a gun up to Krieger's heads and hope that they blink, which is unlikely. or the faceless trade, is what I'm hearing.
Basically, I'm sure
Excellent.
there's probably some lab somewhere that has 4 or 5 pumping out people for the slave trade.
Excellent. Okay. Unless, do you want to talk to him more, Redden, about how you came to be?
Oh, I already know that.
No,
I already know all I need to know.
he's already clicked off the connection.
Excellent. Thank you, Mercury. I never thought I'd say that. Now I want to go cut out my tongue.
He never heard it. Because as soon as it was like, hey, Redden, you want to talk with him about stuff? He was like, haha, fuck no.
Okay, good. He didn't actually hear me like thank him for anything. Good.
Yeah, it's bad enough that I'm not even his kid. I'm just his clone.
Clone of a clone.
Yes.
Copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Hey, Lumen, how you holding up? Fucking same.
As the psychosis set in.
So just to let you know, Redden,
Yeah.
thanks to the telepathic link, you know that Lumen is currently groaning on the bar downstairs, hungover. Yeah, he now knows what a hangover feels like.
Oh, wonderful.
It sucks.
Time to get him some water and a moth.
And a moth.
And a moth. You want to get him some water?
Okay, and you're off. Okay, there we go, brain. I thought you said and a moth.
I thought he said mop. I just imagined him like, hey, need some hydration, Lumen, dumping his head into a fucking
Mop bucket?
bucket.
No. Stop it. Get some help.
I didn't even understand where my brain was going because I just imagined Redden just shows up with a giant human-sized moth. I was like, hey, Lumen,
It's
you need help?
Mothman. It's Mothman.
Lamp.
Give me the life.
But yeah, no,
yes.
Lumen partied way too hard last night.
Doing what?
Okay,
Drugs.
so you really don't want to know, but if you
Oh.
do, the story will have to wait till after he recovers.
Oh, you're telling me, Red. I mean, Lumen.
Oh, you're telling me.
But yes.
You're telling me, or I'm digging through your memory.
I think at this point, we probably head down to the planet and go to fucking my uncle.
Alright. So the call that comes down from everybody, Conrad's going planet side. Does anyone wish to join her?
I was going to, but I have to figure out what Lumens have been up to.
Laura's going planet side for sure, and taking the Skitarii back with. And some Clan of Wonder.
Hey, Sil. Is Mason dead?
Might be.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I think I'm going to tell Laura to maybe cut the clan and just keep the limited autonomy peeps, because where we're going, I really don't want people to see, if possible.
Fair enough.
Oh, by the way, before I do leave, I would also check on Kirst, see how she's doing.
So, she's the one who got thrown on the make a new auto carriage out of all the scraps we have left behind program. Go figure.
Uh-huh.
Yikes.
So she's so embroiled in that and having such a good time that, yeah, she's doing fine.
I should also imagine that Green is down on planet side, huh? Okay. So I'll have to catch up with her, when the campaign of extermination is over.
And Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and nix the Clan of Wonder for now, and just grabs Skitari and like an extra squad of tech guard to go with.
All right.
So we have muscle in case we run into anything that needs shooting.
Pew pew.
On a brain dead tech guard.
So yes,
Not
gonna get
brain
that together,
dead.
load 'em
They
up.
just are kept in check with specific impulse triggers removed.
Brain dead fucks.
Anyway,
Sounds
so
like
y'all
puppets.
load up, head back down.
How's my uncle liking the dreadnought?
So it's definitely missing a lot of the iconography and stuff. The paint's completely worn off,
Mhm.
but he's having a blast.
Right.
Apparently, him
And,
and Raphael have become such fast friends that you literally walk in, or you would literally hear about like how they're, I guess, drinking buddies, quote unquote.
the fuck are they drinking? Well then, this is going to be fun. I did also make sure to bring my rosette, just so you know, because I'm probably going to have to show it maybe, depending on how Raphael's going to react to me.
So you're gonna head over to your uncle's estate.
Yep.
All right. Well, when you get there, same guy at the gate points you over. The only difference when you show up to the actual manor is that dark Eldar spot where they'd been hiding out in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
It's been completely like ripped up, destroyed. All the trees have been fucking flattened. Looks like a
I can only
hurricane
wonder
went
what
through
did
it.
that. Boy, I can only use my imagination to possibly wonder what could have done such a thing.
So anyway,
Getting in-
other than that, it's pretty much the exact same.
Getting into the estate. Finding wherever the fuck they are.
They'd be sitting in the dining hall.
Guten Togen, uncle.
Hello. He actually picks up one of the arms to wave and goes, "Man, that feels weird."
I would imagine. Also, it's a pleasure to actually finally be able to introduce myself to you, Raphael. Our first encounter was a bit quick.
He kind of grunts through the mountains of food he's inhaling.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, he has a lot of food out in front of him. Like, enough to feed, I don't know, maybe 5-10 people. And not, like, rations or anything either. Like, these are
This is
cuts of
food.
meat. And I think it's food.
Does he recognize me?
He does. He would recognize you as the lord of the planet.
I will also, at this point, go ahead and inform him that he has a memory of that Inquisitor he got to speak to over the Vox. In case he wasn't properly introduced to me, I'm Conrad Novigrad, Inquisitor, yada yada, Lord of the Planet, yada yada.
Kind of gives you the kind of get on with it hand gestures.
Well, in short, I was wondering what exactly you would like done with yourself if you have a preference. Because at this point, you're missing about 10,000 years of history. Your legion is no longer a legion, it is a chapter of the Adeptus Astartes. And I believe there's a small team of them currently working somewhere in the sector. And that's about it. Because in short, I can try to make contact with the chapter. and see if they would be willing to meet with you to reinduct you properly. You could become, well, a part of my Inquisitional Consorte. You could become a part of Death Watch. There's options.
So he finally stops eating for a fucking second to take a breath.
Uh-huh.
And when he does, he kind of gives you the like a very level-headed stare and goes, "Why don't I just stay here? If it really has been 10,000 years, then the Legion that I once known no longer exists, and going back to them would be a futile attempt."
True enough.
Honestly, this planet's been my home for the past 50 years. I've grown quite comfortable here.
So then you would like to, I imagine, stay on the estate for the most part, keep the old man company?
I very much doubt you need someone of my skills in your retinue. It seems you have more than enough might.
Again, I figured I might as well offer it to you. I don't know if you'd be bored. And believe me, if there's one thing in our business, is that boring is never in supply.
I'll think about your offer, although no promises.
I don't expect any. So yes, that's just what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you need anything, old man?
No.
I'm
Ever
asking.
since... Yeah,
Mhm.
your uncle.
Yeah.
You know, ever since you guys like took out all of the Dark Elder at the Hive Spire, the abominations have actually kind of dispersed out.
Right.
They haven't been attacked in basically since you got here.
Excellent.
That's good.
Unless, of course, they're reforming somewhere and actually have gained intelligence, in which case it's terrible. But for right now, let's be positive. Anywho, if you need us for anything, we're going to be in the Spire proper because I'm going to see if I can pick apart my father's old things finally. Say again?
Your uncle is wishing you best of luck because, in his own words, even I have no idea what's in there.
This can only end well.
I am more than prepared for human art pieces, sex dungeons, and other terrible, terrible things.
That's being optimistic.
You still remember the way to your father's sanctum, correct?
Yep.
Good.
Don't think I could forget it.
Despite never going past those doors.
Yep. So yeah, I'm going to bring Laura and our cavalcade of limited autonomy troops.
And Raiden.
Oh, yeah, and Redden's here!
Huh?
Yes,
I
he's
feel like
getting
Raiden's just that guy from Kuroko no Basket or whatever the fuck that anime is called who just has no presence. People are like, when the fuck did Raiden get here?
Wait,
I thought
This
you were on
isn't
the
the
ship
bar.
for Lumen.
I thought
Oh, what the
that
fuck?
was-
Are you still nursing Lumen back to health?
that was the plan.
Oh, okay, well have fun up there then.
Okay.
You know what it is? It's just Redden has like a out-of-body experience.
Magnus, put me back.
Him for a few.
Oh. Ray, are you gonna take Laura into the crypt that is your father's residence?
Yep.
Okay. Well, just to let you know, unlike every other planetary governor that's ever lived, your father didn't live in any of the upper levels of the Hive Spire.
Oh.
Ah, fuck me.
He preferred to live under the Hive Spire.
Oh.
course he did.
Specifically
we're
in the
into-
twisted warren of Labyrinth that made up all of the secret entrances and exits you came out of.
We're going
Excellent.
to the Underhive.
So yeah, explain all that to Laura and be like, is it ominous enough yet?
Um. One moment. Roll to.
Wait until you see the doors.
One moment. Roll to resist flashbacks. Flashbacks resisted. Yeah, I've been in an underhive a few times. Let's go.
Yes, let's do that.
I can already hear Mike quietly laughing at me.
So, you guys are gonna head into the Underhive.
Correct.
Oh, fuck.
And then thankfully Conrad has all of the cheater keys.
Yes.
So she can take you to a passage from the hive spire itself all the way down into the Underhive without, like, having to run through the warren of tunnels and staircases and the like.
Mm-hmm.
She basically opens a gate. He goes, "Here's the shaft down," and start climbing the ladder. One really long ladder climb down later, you find the door to the Underhive.
Yep.
And you're standing on solid ground at this point, like dirt. You guys went pretty deep. Like, it took you a solid half hour to go down that ladder.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Can only imagine how long it took our limited autonomy troops to figure that one out.
They're still coming down the ladder. But
So
they should have ladder climbing protocols just fine.
it just takes them a little bit longer than your average person because it's like foot down, foot secure, other foot down, foot
Yep.
secure.
We'll go with that.
So, again, it's not that hard to pop the old rusted door open and peek into one of the big causeways that made up the Underhive. This is one of the big rings that go under the hive.
Yep.
It's connected to all of the other rings by a massive amounts of honeycombing passages that were partially made by the actual hive structure and some made by gangers and the like who created their own tunnels.
Yep. Well then, time to follow me Pops' golden road.
Right. And by golden, full of skeletons.
Yes, same difference.
Because the infrastructure that many of the gangs and the like in Hell still stands as you walk through the totally deserted Underhive. You can see gang hideouts with all their graffiti sprayed on it.
Mm-hmm.
Big ass, kind of strong points that are designed to hold ground between territories. Prefabricated buildings and the like. And skeletons. Lots and lots and lots of skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
However, any weapons or armor or even meat on bones has been stripped ages ago.
Right.
Some of the skulls might be useful to make servo skulls out of.
So yes.
Yep. Takes you another fucking half hour to get to your father's place, and then if you want to wait another 45 minutes for your tech guard to catch up. And then you're in front of the door. The door you've seen 100 times. Big double cast iron gate with all manner of spikes and mean shit on it.
Yep.
Descending down into your father's lair. Okay, key time.
Yep.
Oh god, here we go.
So, click, click, door opens, gate swings. Into the belly of the beast.
Yep.
So, the first thing that strikes you is when you step foot at the bottom of the ramp, your foot isn't on dirt anymore. It's actually, once again, on, like, steel.
Gotcha.
And the corridor you're in is like a long corridor that runs all the way beyond, like, into the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see the end of it. It's very unnatural corridors. Definitely man-made.
Right.
It's basically a big-ass, long-ass hallway. And when say big, I mean big. Like, you could fit two Beyblades side by side down this tunnel.
Well then, time to go down it.
Right.
Let's
Well,
go.
instead of going down, it starts to shift upwards. And before you know it, you're all climbing up a 45-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
Takes you, I don't know, about 2 hours or so to navigate up the entire ramp. And when you do,
Mm-hmm.
you can both roll me tech use checks.
Oh boy,
I
here we
can do
go.
that.
That's a pass.
Somehow.
That's a pass.
Okay, so
I
you
mean-
both notice when you get to the top that there's a console. An elevator console.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the kind of elevator console that's built into any spires or anything like that. It's like a big ass freight elevator.
Oh. Oh dear.
Oh, he's well and truly dead.
Let me fix that.
There we go.
It's
Anyway,
fixed.
so yeah, there's an elevator here, like a big ass cargo elevator.
Gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and get in it.
All right. You hop on the cargo elevator, you close the gate, and that's when you realize there are people, like bodies, hanging off of meat hooks around the elevator, hanging off the roof.
Are they fresh? Are they skeletons?
They're not fresh, but they're definitely not skeletons. They haven't rotted all the way down to nothing yet. They're actually pretty well preserved.
Excellent. Decoration.
Yeah. And when you get to the top of the elevator, it only gets worse.
Uh-huh.
But the thing that kind of confuses you is when you guys get up to the top of the elevator and you step off. Well, you're pretty sure that this isn't a building. Or a bunker or anything along those lines.
Roll perception?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Please do.
That's a pass.
Okay. So, if you were to take a guess, you're probably on what remains of a starship?
Oh. Would pass this on to Conrad.
Excellent.
And through some more very grisly, scene-filled torture rooms with everything from Iron Maidens to, what the hell is the name of that big brass rod that they used to strap people to and just light the rod underneath them?
What are you
Anyway,
talking about?
there's a butt ton of torture devices in there, and they're all stained with various amounts of old blood.
Right.
Oh boy.
You get to the back, and that's kind of what makes sense, because you walk into a bridge.
Okay.
All the consoles are broken. The actual glass is being shattered in. and it's covering everything, and the dirt's kind of created new walls. Anyway, now that you know it's a spaceship, you can probably guess the captain's quarters isn't too far. And if you were your dad, you know.
Right.
And as you would meander on over there, you would spy above the command throne that the ship's name was the Nightfallen.
Gotcha.
Is Jason playing with the soundboard?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea what the hell that noise was.
Okay. But yeah, no. So you put two and two together, meander up to the captain's quarters, open the door, and yeah, it's definitely your dad's room.
Uh-huh.
There's even more dead people, paintings in, blood, some weird poetry.
Yeah?
Yeah. The room itself is actually split into two parts. One is very utilitarian. It's very neat, very orderly. Everything is in its place. It's got everything a person needs. A bed, a place to store their clothes like a wardrobe. It has a little personal arming table as well as a door behind the arming table that presumably leads to some kind of armory.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side being the fucking mess that your father is best known for. With, half-mutilated bodies and people stretched out beyond their normal lengths and people hanging off meat hooks at different angles that are all preserved perfectly so they never rot, never disappear.
Right.
There's only one hanging in the actual orderly side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, perception check me if you, I guess, want to search it for all your dad's cool shit.
As part of the idea, see if there's anything interesting in here.
We'll say the door to the, behind the arming table probably would have caught your eye as far as, it seems like the
I
only
check
other entrance or exit. Well, it's an armory.
Well, I passed. I don't know what else that's scrutiny.
Okay. So you do pass, basically you walk into the armory, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see it's totally empty. And it clicks in your brain that your dad's a pedantic asshole. So he put a real armory behind a fake armory.
Of course.
So, walk over and play around with stuff in the room until you close a hard case and the door opens. Because your dad's just that much of an asshole.
Right.
So that is a very, very tiny room that looks almost like a shrine.
Mm-hmm.
There's, well, obviously, like an altar with many offerings on it of preserved human organs and the like. Everything from eyes to veins. You're pretty sure there's just a meter of skin there wrapped up.
Of course. Very classy.
And standing opposite of that altar in this room is a arming table with a suit of armor, a another pistol, like another what the fuck
Hand
are they
cannon?
called now? Hand cannon. Thank you. Jesus. That looks the same as yours, like it's all ruined red. And a bike. Like an assault bike.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's got heavy stubbers mounted on the shocks, kind of like the Batman motorbike.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it's like
So is this-
set up in like this very old, like classic guard style.
Right. So, to ask, is that suit of armor the armor?
Yeah. I mean, you don't even need to ask that question. You take a look at it and you're like, yeah, that's a sadistic prick's armor.
Excellent.
Did
Gonna
you,
collect the shit out of that.
Yeah, it's deep, like black and blue prismatic, like kind of color, like shifts with the light. It's like dark blue in light, but black in darkness with red accents.
That's fun.
And the other hand cannon.
Yes. Now I can dual wield.
Yeah. So you collect your father's stuff. And the bike's kind of in this little garage in the back. And hey, Laura.
Yes.
So you've been kind of looking around, right? Just
And
kind
having
of.
this get and having my autonomous servant, my semi-autonomous servants, document everything through their eyeball cameras.
What you're getting right now is a lot of perfectly preserved dead people.
Okay.
But your servitors do find something shifting through the viscera that's quite interesting.
And
It
what
looks
would
like
that
someone's made a necklace talisman out of part of a human heart.
Well, that's not creepy at all.
Laura informed Conrad that she found this.
Picks it up. Conrad.
Yes. Then I look and do I see it?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty obvious.
Give me.
Hands it to Conrad.
Let me see it.
Hands the heart
Yes.
necklace to Conrad.
Yes.
You seem quite enthusiastic about this particular item.
So, Conrad, like all the gear that Conrad kind of has hodgepodge held in her arms, like the armor, the other hand cannon, and all that. As soon as the necklace gets close, it all reacts and kind of runs along the length of red lightning. And for a split second, you swear to God, you can see Conrad Kurz behind Conrad, like looking like a madman, insanity in his eyes.
Conrad. Conrad. I hate to break it to you, but your father was behind you briefly. He did not look friendly. Conrad?
Hello?
Good.
Did we lose another?
Did we lose someone?
Did we lose somebody else?
Up. So, oh, her phone died.
Yeah, so, yeah, their phone just died. They'll be back in a moment. Technical difficulties.
Well, then I guess this is perfect time for fucking Red and Lumen to have their conversation, I guess.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, just stop right there. Just. Hey, Laura, you saw Conrad. Okay, Red.
Scene jump.
God. Although I'd like to think that Redden's gonna do that at least once. Where, like, he's like, oh, hey, I want to surprise somebody, so everyone thinks he's somewhere else, and he just teleports behind everybody and, like, acts like he was there the whole time with a really good deceive check.
Exactly. That's why I gotta learn that power from Magnus.
The only problem is, if you fuck it up, you know, you're stuck in the warp. Fucking sucks.
Just floating there.
Waiting for a demon to come, I don't know, do what demons do to people. I don't want to have that thought. So yeah, you're helping Lumen with his suffering?
Yes.
Oh boy. By the way, Laura, you can roll me a die of fate to see what you can find wandering around the spire while Conrad is now having a flashback.
40.
Alright. I'll deal with Redden first, because that's just easier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want the story out of Lumen?
Yes.
Okay, so, there's this girl in the clan that he's been hanging out with, and apparently it was just time to party last night, so that's what happened. He decided, hey, I'm gonna join. What's the worst that could go wrong? And he blacked out.
You blacked out.
Yeah, I blacked out.
That's it.
I remember my 6th drink.
Okay, what happened with drinks 1 through 5?
We were playing this game where you set up like a throne of shot glasses, and whoever like gets the coin, the throne, into part of the throne, makes the other team drink a shot.
Okay, was she on your team, on the other team?
The other team.
Uh-huh.
I blacked out before the armrest was gone.
Where did you wake up? Because that's a theme with us.
Right here, he slaps his hand on the bar.
Well, that's boring.
I mention that I may or may not have, woken up, like, after everybody had left. Like, they left me on the bar all night, and nobody bugged me.
Okay, that sounds normal too. Anyway, what happened after you woke up?
This old guy punched me in the face. So I punched
Okay.
him back. I'm pretty
Why?
sure I knocked him out.
No. Okay. Why? Did you find out why he punched you?
Oh yeah, I know why he punched me.
Why?
He's trying to kick me out.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go before he comes back with a Space Marine, please. So yeah, you've now learned that Lumen is an angry drunk.
Wonderful.
I'm also back for now.
Yes.
Yay.
Oh, hello.
Oh well.
So
We'll probably be wrapping this up in the next 30 minutes anyway, so...
Do you want to figure out what happened after you passed out?
He will be getting on that. But anyway, Laura rolled a die fate for me, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way first.
and to fill you
Okay.
in, so Laura informed Conrad that Conrad was behind Conrad, and Conrad wound up in a hell flashback, and Laura wandered off for die of fate.
Okay. Is that what Comrade's going to be for the rest of the session? Just to ask you.
Yeah, you're basically standing there while your dear old dad explains to you what having all of these items together means.
Okay. If that's where Conrad's basically going to be, and if you don't need me, I'm going to have to go.
Alright, that's fine.
Okay. Goodbye. I had fun. I'm sorry.
It's okay as long as you had fun. Oh man, she's gonna be fucking surprised when she comes back.
I'll
Yikes.
bet. Oh god.
Don't spoil it for her, you two. But basically, her dad's like, "Hey, yo, you got the gear together, so you're the Night Haunter now. Have fun."
Oh no.
Yikes.
So anyway, you and Lumen are trying to figure out what happened the other day, right?
Yeah.
And Magnus teleports in, grabs you both, and goes, "No time, we're leaving," and teleports again.
Where do we end up?
dear.
You're right in front of Laura, or well, behind Laura and her tech guard.
I would hear the pop of the teleport, right?
It's a rift. It's Magnus teleporting.
So it would be more of a snap.
You'd hear reality being torn asunder.
Turn around, shotgun ready.
It's Magnus, and Redden, and Lumen.
I should shoot Redden just for the sake of it. But
Magnus laughs and is like, haha, try.
I wasn't going to shoot you. Redden probably deserves it for whatever reason.
This is totally my doing. Don't blame these two.
First of all, he's the one that punched the old man in the bar. I point that Lumen.
I didn't know I was an angry drunk, okay?
I don't give a shit.
That was a bad move. But for now, I'll deal with that later. Laura lowers the shotgun.
Oh, you found an ancient, dilapidated tunnel door in the Underhive.
Oh, this can only end well.
Yeah.
Let's get this bitch open.
You're gonna have to make a strength check to actually pry all the rust and stuff off the door.
Strength check, and
Yep.
I think I'm going to put the actual Skitari into hyperaction protocol for overriding their strength safeties.
Oh, you gonna have someone rip off their arm? That sounds fun.
I mean, I didn't skimp on that. The servos, I think.
Watch their check. They're ripping their arms off.
Oh, fuck's sake. Really?
You're the one who's like, let's override safety protocols. Okay, no one's arm gets ripped off. The door is open.
Oh, so I didn't even need to roll that, even though I passed.
You literally were like, let's get the Skitari, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna roll for them to open the door.
Oh, okay.
And they did it. So yeah, congrats. You opened a door. Doubly effective.
Excellent.
There's a big, long-ass tunnel that leads deep down into the earth.
Let's continue along, shall we? Turn on the stab light for her optical mechadendrite to illuminate the passageway.
You know, this was hidden behind a set of like concrete walls that were almost like a maze. So it's rather hidden.
Indeed.
You had something to say?
Is Magnus still here?
Yep.
So did you sense something that forced you to bring us here?
So
You want to be honest? I just saw Laura running around down here alone and thought, nobody else is doing anything.
well, I did see one of your brothers.
Lovely.
Yeah, Conrad's dad.
Obviously. I mean, if it wasn't her or him, I'd be kind of surprised, given this is apparently the place that he hid or ran to after his apparent death. Or real. This family is confusing.
I try not to think about it.
Like, he dies, but he's not dead, but he is dead? Like. What?
Things are quite complicated with this family, indeed.
Well,
My
Magnus.
family was weird.
Well, think about it. Am I your nephew, or your cousin, or your brother?
I'd like to think none of the above.
Technically, you're correct on that front.
As I am a demon prince now.
No, even before that, I think because of what we know about his background, I think that you're technically correct. Continues down the tunnel of darkness and despair.
Oh, my favorite.
Just, oh, my favorite is Lumen gets out his emergency cheese rations.
Oh, hell yeah.
Of course.
So, Laura, you walked down this tunnel for what seems like hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you get to where it opens up, it's visibly risen quite a few degrees.
So we're going up now. Because you said that the slope has risen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have come out into a big, like, cavern, which slowly kind of rises up along a gentle slope.
Interesting. So I'm gonna roll perception because we're in a new area.
I want to, too.
Okay,
So that's
go for it.
That's a pass.
Hell yeah.
Anything that I notice?
As soon as Redden is done.
Let me check something.
Nope, that's a big old no.
Well, hang on. You said it's dark in here, right?
Yes.
Where is it?
So your lenses would help you.
Yeah, it's what I roll 60 something? Yeah, no, almost had it, but no.
Alright then, Redden wouldn't see shit. Laura, you'd notice that there's structures at the other end of the cavern.
Oh, wonderful! Time to get the Scutari into formation, and we advance on the structures.
Okay? You managed to make it all the way to the structures without being shot at, no mines blowing up, nothing. It's just as dead down here as it is upstairs. But
Oh,
Going,
no.
wait.
these wreckage,
There's the button. Oh,
the
sorry.
wreckage is quite interesting.
Excellent. Oh god, so what do I gotta roll? I'm curious now.
I'd say you'd have to give me 3 separate rolls, because the way the buildings are all set up is there's one side that's like a chemical laboratory that you can tell is a drug factory.
Ooh.
The building adjacent to it, like right across from it, is a small weapons manufacturing lab, like a forge. Nothing like the Mechanicus ever does, but it's definitely a forge designed for mass production.
Okay then. And
Yeah.
the third one?
There's a third building that's between the two at the end, in the back of the cavern, which you can only be described to you as a military post. Like there's dozens of little trenches and foxholes and barricades set up, designed to look like they could be fired from in a kind of defending role. Whoever set this place up was not only military oriented, but had the resources and the money to move materials down here to build a forge and a drug lab and have them running effectively. Your best bet is it was probably the largest gang on this entire planet.
So I'm assuming that's what are the 3 rolls you need me to do? You said I needed to do 3 rolls.
Tech use and perception.
Medicaid, tech use, and perception.
Yeah.
Okay. Plus 20, plus 20, plus 20. No, that's a D10. No. 1d100. Okay, that's Medicae. Plus 30, plus 20. Tech use. Oh!
Nice.
That's a crit, isn't it? And, perception. Scrutiny?
Awareness.
Just awareness. Let me check what my awareness is. Oh, so that's a plus 20, so okay. Let's see if this is the one I bought. Okay, I pass all of
pretty
that.
good.
And I crit my tech use.
So, then you're pretty sure if you had the bodies, you could get this place up and running. You could have a small forge to produce simple parts and machinery, and a drug lab to make drugs. And with that perception check, you found enough materials lying around in the storehouse. You could start up production of either a simple kind of material or item, like simple items like pots or cookware or, simple metal objects, as well as simpler mechanical pieces for vehicles or anything like that. Now, you can't build an engine here as you're seriously lacking materials, but you build like autogun parts or like anything of that similar nature, and you have enough chemicals lying around that you could make, theoretically, several different types of drugs. Mostly just narcotics designed to give hallucinatory effects or to calm a person down.
I mean, I'll take it.
Fucking recipes.
Oh. Recipes. This can only end well.
Since you did crit your tech use check, I will give you the since your mechanic is as well, you could probably get the forge running a lot easier. It's basically an old gang hideout.
Interesting. I could probably leave the squad, the squad of tech guard on autonomous mode to prepare things while we get more people down here.
So, yeah. You could do that. Either way, Laura found a gang hideout. A place to hide in hell.
This is mine now.
Hey, Redden?
Yes.
The reason why you're here, Magnus would let you know, is because this is the closest spot where reality meets the warp on the planet. It's kind of where the veil is thinnest.
And that's probably where Kairos got in.
Right. The reason why I brought you here is because he is physically fucking drained from first stopping Kairos, from getting back into the real space, and having to do the 3-day-long slog of making sure that Peppermint was free of corruption. So he needs you to do the job.
Oh dear.
Oh, what you need, buddy?
I need you to roll me a because you have Magnus and Lewin both there to help you, they'll negate all of the negatives, so you can just roll me a warp power. Roll.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yikes!
Oh!
I can spin my fate on that one.
Only Felix spent this session.
Click. Let's watch the blue real quick. Okay, that's a pass.
Okay. So yeah, after a little bit of a blunder, which Magnus has to use even more of his already limited power to help fix, he managed to seal the actual rift he came through, so he can't use it as a backdoor anymore. The reason he would explain to this is because of the leftover emotions by the residents of this gang hideout. Yeah, they were very colorful people that lived here.
To put it gently.
To put it gently. And with that, ladies and gents, the things I wanted to get done today are off the board. Aside from Conrad.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So,
Could you please cut this stream?
oh, alright. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Glad to have you, and we'll see you guys next week, maybe.
This week being a clusterfuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.